I came through the door, saw the vibe ain't right. Mama told me patience, but this ain't my fight. Stacked up the dreams like a house of cards. Now the queen gone missing, left the king on guard. Her promises soft, but her tone was steel. She said, wait a little longer, I said, make it real. Time ain't money, but it sure ain't free. Better get my diary, don't mess with me. Better get my diary, don't play no games. You said you bring it now, your shift in blame. Oh yeah, time ticking quick like a runaway train. Better get my diary, or feel my pain. She talked about love, but her eyes don't go. Got me spinning in circles while the story gets old. I ain't no fool, no pawn in your plan. Better come correct or you lose as a man. Cows in the pasture, goats in the shed. Promises ain't feeding what the preacher said. You can keep your sweet words, I don't need no vow. Better get my diary and deliver it now. Don't test my patience, don't waste my time. I gave you the warning, now read the sign. Better get my diary, don't play no games. You said you bring it now, your shift in blame. Oh yeah, time's ticking quick like a runaway train. Better get my diary, or feel my pain.
Okay. Yo, Dan the man, good to see you, man. Sorry, I've been just a little discombobulated today. I think we're good though. Everything's fine. Hey, Don DeMarco. Welcome in, man. Shout out to y'all. Hopefully we get some more folks in today. We'll see what kind of night it is. Give it a little bit more time, see who else comes in. Stream settings. Seems like folks are coming in later, at least the last couple weeks it seemed like that. After like the first 30-40 minutes. That's okay, hope y'all are doing well. So hopefully we'll have a good show tonight. And the panel discussion I'm hoping to have tomorrow. I got that all ready and uploaded. I'm just waiting for one more person to kind of finish what they're doing. And then did Paul get this? I didn't send it yet. I will send it, man. I'm sorry. I got to go back in there. I'd like to send it to him through email so he can just download it and have the song and then listen to it. So I'm sorry, man. I'll follow with you on that, and I'll make sure to do that. My apologies, sir. Yo, Klaus, welcome in, man. Shout out to you. Whoops. Klaus could be like the cops. I could see that someday. Let's see. Who am I missing? Okay, live on YouTube, Twitch, chat's up. And we got the folks in here. Dan, I'm going to make it happen for you, man. I'm sorry. Get clear. All right, we'll give it a little bit more time. See if the folks come in. We got some funny stuff tonight, so. Well, one funny thing. Hopefully it'll be a good conversation. Hoping to see some of the folks in here. Okay. Whew. I feel like I'm sitting here sweating, man. 5 people in so far. Hopefully we get... Be nice to have around 10, but that's okay. If we got to get started with just us, then we're going to do that. I was hoping Michael Sayan would be in, because he gave me a clip that has become a new sound effect, which I think you guys are going to appreciate. Dream was simple, yet profound. If everyone can make sure they can hit that like button, we can get some more folks in here. I might play one more song, and that'll take us to a solid 10 minutes of chilling before we get started on this. Maybe some more folks will come in. Shah is live, man. Raymond, welcome in. I'm happy to see you. On Raymond's live. Oh, crap. Okay, so that means I only got 5 viewers on mine. But if I'm on Raymond's live, that means there's like 200 to 300 people watching. Shout out to Raymond's live chat there. And Raymond, man, I swear, Raymond, I'm always thinking about you. I know I need to follow up and we need to do another show or something together. And, you know, I feel bad about that. But feeling bad's not enough. Like, I got to make that happen. I hope things are going well, man. Every morning when I wake up and I turn on my YouTube, the first video I see is Raymond's video. And I listen to that, you know. You keep me company while I'm at work also. So, hey, Peter Wright, welcome in. Pleasure to have you here. Peter Wright's been making some good tweets. I mean, he usually does, but like just today, I've had to repost a couple because I've appreciated those. So it's been calling out the Evo Psych folks, which is great to see. You know what? The hell with it. All right, if we got Raymond's chat watching, then let's just go ahead and get to the first item here. This was submitted by Michael Sayin. I was hoping to see Michael Sayin in the chat because he did give this to me, but you know, that's okay. This is a Monty Python clip, all right? And this has become the new sound effect. I don't know if I'm still on Raymond's chat, but if I am, this, and also Peter Wright, I'm glad you're here because this is yet, you know, an artistic depiction of men's hypergamy. Okay, so this is going to be men being hypergamous, okay? And then you're also going to see Simpin come in and outdo that, right? So let's go ahead and see what these folks have to say, okay?
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
But I don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful, she's rich, she's got huge tracts of land. Herbert.
Okay, see, so that's our male hypergamy right there, okay? So this guy wants to be in love, right? And we're going to get into a discussion about that, by the way. Right here, the romance problem. And someone sent this to me. I actually think it was John from It's Complicated that sent this to me. And I watched a part of it. I thought it was pretty good. But it talks about romance and expectations. And I think he talks a little bit about history and in the past there. So we'll get into that. And then there's also something else here. I don't even think I watched this, but also, just a disclaimer, this stream might get taken down because these people have like 8 million subscribers. This is like a Jubilee type reaction. So I'm going to have to put Mr. Pitt's grid on here, basically. Now, this has become our new sound effect right here.
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
But I don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful, she's rich,
it's a little louder on my sound effect.
Huge tracts of land.
All right, so yes, this is. I gotta watch it one more time. Thank you, Michael Sayin, if you watch this on the run back.
We live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
This is the male hypergamy here. The red pill forgot about this. Men forgot about this part.
But I don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful, she's rich, she's got huge tracts of land.
He wants to be in love. See, that's the problem. He wants to be in love. So, okay, yeah. So this is what we're talking about today. We got a new sound effect on the board. Thank you to Michael Sayin. You know, super appreciative of that. I love all the dowry sound effects I can get. Use the Force, Luke. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna bring that up right now just so I don't forget. I've forgotten to do this many times. So yes, I'm really hoping this actually works. It's worked before. And if the stream gets cut off, I'm sorry, guys. I just, you know, they got us. They got us. So that's what we're going to have to deal with. All right. So Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to use the grid, but I don't want to chance it with these people right here. So we're going to go ahead. This is going to be our main thing. And let me just catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll go and get in there. He's not the Messiah. No, piss off. I think that's some more Monty Python. Go for the gold? Absolutely. Yep.
There was a dowry or a bride price.
Mm-hmm. And grid up. Yep, so we got grid. Use the force. There we go. I don't think I missed anybody. All right, let's just go and have some fun. All right, let's do this, guys. Okay, so this guy's name is Alain de Botton. And he's born in Zurich, Switzerland in 1969. Now lives in London. He is a writer of essayistic books. Okay, essayistic books that have been described as a philosophy of everyday life. He's written on love, travel, architecture, been to 30 countries, and his latest book is titled Religion for Atheists. So that's interesting. Now, the description of this video says, for most of human history, love was not a choice we made. Love was a choice made for us by our family, our class, or by means of survival. Okay, so I mean, hey, this is not something that sounds alien to this channel, right? We've definitely talked about that.
Your dowry. It's my right.
There was a lot of this going on.
Which one of these broads has the richest father?
and now also this.
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp.
So-
we need all the land we can get.
You have to think
Don't
about these
like
things.
her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful. She's
I love the sound
rich,
effect.
she's got
I'll probably shorten it.
huge
I'll probably shorten it.
Tracts of land.
Tracts of land. Okay, yeah, so tracts of land came into this. And then he writes, now that love has been liberated, well, this is their description for the video, it seems to have become more complicated and more elusive than ever, Alain de Botton explains. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to this guy. And I can't remember exactly what he talks about because it was a while since I've seen part of this.
It used to be the case that when people found partners, they would do so according to fairly pragmatic considerations.
See that? Pragmatic considerations. Man, I mean, how many times have we said that word pragmatic? And yes, I know I stopped the video a lot, but I'm going to have to stop the video more than is going to annoy you guys because of the reason I'm using the grid on this video. So it's already a 9 million sub channel. And every time we've done this with, you know, channels around 5 million, this happens. So yes. Okay. Klaus says something has to be seriously wrong with this guy if he moved from Switzerland to London. Yeah, I know, right? That's a good one. All right. Yeah. Anyways, pragmatic considerations is all very gold pill. So there's no gynocentrism hasn't entered the picture. So let's see.
Couples were formed.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, I got to take the grid off for you guys real quick. This is too good. This is not unlike some of the paintings we've seen, but as you can see, there's gold coins on the desk right here. Okay, so this is the nod to the gold pill. You got a big old stack of gold coins. There's a pouch right here that it came out of. This right here says marriage. There's two documents here, right? See that? So they're both looking at this. This guy's got his little reading glasses on. Actually, we've seen this picture before. This looks kind of familiar. Here's, you know, this is probably going to be the bridegroom. This is the bride. Then we got a barrister in here, probably some other guy. And yeah, they're talking. This is the marriage contract. Okay. So fantastic, man. Okay. Got to put the grid back on. Sorry, guys. This is going to be one of these where I got to stop a lot because I don't want to chance it. If the stream goes down, I don't even know if I'll bring it back up. I mean, I want to, but I'll probably be too disheartened. So let's go ahead and reverse on that. I want to hear him say the word pragmatic again.
According to fairly pragmatic considerations. Couples were formed not by the individuals themselves, but by the wider society.
Yup, and oh my God, the wider society.
There were, if you like, dynastic marriages.
Yeah, and not just for royals. You know, this is all up and down the status hierarchy, if you want to use that word, all right? All wealth classes, especially in monogamous societies.
There was then a momentous change that occurs towards the end of the 18th century that we now know as Romanticism.
There we go, towards the end of the 18th century. Okay, and you know, this happens first in England. And if you guys remember my discussion with Paul Elam, shout out to Paul, when we were going over in my, that was the second discussion, I believe. Oh no, the third one, the gold pill one. And we were going over the newspaper articles, and you start to see the change in English newspaper articles around this time, and as it moves into the 1800s. Late 1700s, it's still what he's talking about here. It's still not gynocentric, but you get a little, and then all of a sudden 1800s, it's in there. That's the 19th century. And yes, so I'm just glad we got a guy that's on a big platform, and he said that, and he sounds like, seems like he's got some credentials behind him. So, let's go and see.
And one of the central tenets of Romanticism is that each individual should be left to decide on their partner by the movements of their own heart.
So each individual should be able to choose, right? Okay, so this is going to take us back to here, right? Each individual. But I don't like her.
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
But I don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful, she's rich, she's got
What the hell's wrong with you? Yeah, who do you like?
tracts of land. Herbert.
Tell us who you like, Herbert. I'm curious. Who is this woman that you're so in love with that works behind the tavern or whatever the heck it's going to be? It reminds me of that episode of South Park. You guys remember that episode of South Park where Butters goes to like a Hooters or something? This must have came out like 13 years ago, but he goes to a Hooters. I think it was a Hooters. He went to one of those places, and the waitresses are being extra nice to him, and then he falls in love with one of the Hooters waitresses, basically, and they're trying to tell him hey, she doesn't, you're tripping out here. Okay, moving back in, we got our grid up.
It's a beautiful idea. It's a very liberating idea. And let's put it plainly, it's been a disaster.
Yes. Okay. See, this is when I added it to my playlist to react. Yes, it has been a disaster. I don't think anybody that's going to look at this objectively can say, no, this has been a good thing for civilization. This has been good. I think at this point, it was an experiment. It was a relatively recent thing. This man is pointing it out. This Swiss gentleman here. And yes, I mean, we're all dealing with it. So it has been a disaster, definitely. Yo, hey guys, welcome in. Orem, shout out to you. Good to see you. Welcome in. Oh, crap. Somehow I'm accidentally recording this. I don't know why I'm doing that. All right, let's go ahead and move in.
We are not any appreciably happier now in a romantic culture than we were in a dynastic culture.
That's a big statement right there. I know I keep pausing it, but it's we're not any more happier now. I mean, some people, you might even be able to say we're more miserable now. Some people might say it's worse now. Or, people are Stewie crying themselves to sleep. So, yeah.
And why? Because we live in a romantic culture that sees something adverse in planning and thinking and reflecting too hard on the business of love. And it's been a serious problem for humanity.
The business of love. It's just interesting because it's the guys that I see talk about this are Paul Elam, Peter Wright. It's been mostly, relegated to this area of the internet. So it's just kind of surprising. Now, listen, I don't know where this video is going. And if it ends up with men need to do better and I get it, and some of that could be true. Dang, my zipper wasn't even closed. But if it becomes another Scott Galloway is all I'm trying to say, then I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna apologize for that preemptively because I can't remember how this ends. But it started fantastic.
My name is Alain de Botton. I'm a philosopher, psychotherapist, and founder of the School of Life.
The School of Life.
The unique challenge of modern dating.
We know in theory that love matters a lot. It's in every pop song. It's the center of most religions. we sometimes lose sight of what that word actually means. It's
interesting that he says center of some religions, because I really don't think so. At least not. I mean, maybe they got taken over by it, and then that kind of became a thing. But I guess you could say now, but it wasn't before. At least not from. I don't think so for core scriptural doctrinal texts. If you guys disagree with me, please let me know. And by the way, I just want to emphasize, when you hear romance, that's the blue pill, definitely, right? That's anyways.
About connection. And it is one of the most beautiful and one of the most complicated of all phenomena. Even though...
And when you say beautiful, you can also say it's like an addiction. It's almost like a drug, basically. So... just, beautiful. Well, I get it. It feels beautiful. Maybe in the same way, some type of illegal substance can for some people. But, beautiful. When you snap out of it, maybe not so much. So, gold pills on the desk. I had wondered who had founded the School of Life, thought it was some deity thing or something. I think the School of Life, I don't know, maybe I just got this from a movie, but I think in ancient Egypt, there was some priest school over there that might have been called that, and that's where your, educated folks went. Not romantic love and religion. Just turns out that it's this guy. I thought it was Jay-Z. Okay, moving in.
We think we've been around on this planet for a long time trying to figure things out. I'd say we were still at the dawn, collectively, of making sense of this phenomenon we call love.
I'd say we are still at the dawn. I just like how he keeps saying this is a new thing. You know what I mean? This whole individual stuff right here. I wonder if he did talk about class a little bit. And when he talks about modern dating, I wonder if he will discuss current economic realities. But, we'll see where he goes with this. Peter Wright says agape was always a thing, Christendom or eros, Greek mythology, etc. But romantic love was never in the mix. Different beast. Funny how so many conflate them. Yes, that's my understanding too. So I don't know what he meant by that. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt so far, but let's go ahead and move in.
And it's no surprise that most people will go to their deathbeds thinking, not quite sure I've figured that side of life out. At least many of us will still be grappling with some of the complexities of love by the time time runs out on us.
Yeah. It's funny too, because you see this all the time, like, especially if you go through like dating profiles, people, even folks that are like, middle-aged will be like, I'm looking for something real or something. And they're talking about love, which ironically is an illusion and the furthest thing away from something real. Anyways.
The most central kind of love that people are obsessed about, concerned about, is romantic love. That is the intimate connection between two human beings who have a sexual contact. It's worth saying that there are other forms of love.
That's good he brings up the other forms. I was going to say, it's like romantic love is so addicting and it's so compelling to people. It's such a drug that they will find a way to project this desire for it onto their own religious beliefs. It's God wanted it to be this way and the heaven put us together. It's something like that. Soulmates, and all that kind of stuff, to where your own religious beliefs almost get subjugated to this, basically. So here we go.
We can love our children. We can love animals.
Okay. Yeah. Love our children. So like, a familial.
We can love ideas. We can love tables, chairs, clouds, all sorts of things. We are capable of many forms of love. But I'd say that when people sing about love and when they cry about love, it tends to be the love of one very special person we tend to call our soulmate, our partner. It used to be the
soulmate. Yeah.
Case that when people found partners, they would do so according to fairly pragmatic considerations.
Yeah, this is going to be your marriage of reason, your arranged marriage, a match, that makes sense, a pragmatic match, not the love match. Then the love match comes in. That's fairly recent given the grand scheme of human history. Peter Wright says people make the mistake of conflating eros, sexual desire, for romantic love, chivalry, woman elevating. Yeah, that's a very important point, and that's even something I myself need to watch out for, because it's when you talk about some of these kinds of things, like if I do it too fast, I might make that mistake. So guys, if you're paying attention, please always keep an eye out for that. But yes, and especially chivalry being, elevating the woman to this higher position, or at the very least putting the man down. So this is creating a imbalance here. And then it just, it rolled over into this current disaster where it's just women are naturally hypergamous and women and men, aren't. But anyways.
In most nations, in most parts of the world, for most of history, couples were formed not by the individuals themselves, but by the wider society, families, the village, the court. There were, if you like, dynastic marriages.
And pretty much limited to your class and means and potential. So this is just another way of saying hypergamy was kept in check. I wonder if he himself realizes that. But really, when it comes to the dowry, when it comes to this matchmaking, this is what solves for hypergamy, especially in a society that has class stratification.
Would get together with somebody because they had a plow and you had an ox and it seemed like a good match, or you were the Duke of Brabant and they were the Princess of Naples.
I'm glad that he kind of mentions, like an agrarian or just like a peasant type situation, and then goes up to royalty. So, we got two different examples here of people from different class backgrounds.
And that was seen as a, wonderful union. So you got together for reasons that were nothing to do with emotional compatibility. There were a lot of tears, there was sadness, there was loneliness. It didn't seem to matter because relationships were seen to be about something else. There was then a momentous change that occurs towards the end of the 18th century, starting in Britain, France, Germany.
There we go, starting in Britain, yep. Then France, Germany, parts of Italy. We know Italy's later. And, he can probably throw the America in there as well, United States. But yeah, okay.
Parts of Italy, a revolution in feeling that we now know as Romanticism. And one of the central tenets of Romanticism is that each individual should be left to decide on their partner by the movements of their own heart. They should be left to decide for themselves.
Okay, yeah, and some people might call that simping. Here's an example of a back and forth between these different understandings, so to speak.
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
But I don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful, she's rich, she's got huge tracts of land. Herbert.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you? All right, let's get this grid back up. So far, so good. Haven't got any warnings yet, guys. We got 17 people watching. We got 9 likes. If you guys can hit the like button who haven't liked it yet, that's going to help me. So appreciate that if you could do that. So, okay, let's go in. All right, yeah.
It's a beautiful idea. It's a very liberating idea. It should make a lot of sense.
I mean, maybe it can exist in romantic novels or something. It could be entertaining. But when it comes to, practical living, it's not doing so hot.
And we have been in the Romantic age now for, 200 years, perhaps shorter, perhaps a little longer, that kind of time period. And let's put it plainly, it's been a disaster.
Thank you for saying that. Just don't plow her ox. Her father would look askance. I remember another dowry clip. I sent it in the Discord. I couldn't find the clip, but I sent a timestamp of the movie. Oh, if you put it in here now, I can pull that up. If you don't mind reminding me, maybe after we get through this, we're about halfway through, I could pull up that clip. So that definitely sounds fun. All right, moving in.
We are not any appreciably happier now in a romantic culture than we were in a dynastic culture where marriages were made for dynastic reasons. Why? because we have failed collectively to focus with enough intent on the difficulties that couples will have when they choose each other according to the movements of their own heart.
Yep, the difficulties that they will have. I don't know where he's going, but, I think a lot of this has to do with practical life, right? So when the love wears off and you got to actually figure out how we're going to, integrate in this society with what we've created here, setting up a household, raising kids and all these kinds of things. You're from this place, she was raised over there. Is this going to work? Our families are very different. The values are very different. So I wonder if he's going to get into some of that. Morning Glory Plowing Farm book upcoming. Yeah, there you go.
Look, I think a really key prejudice of the romantic worldview is that if love is working well, it should be following instinct. There's been an enormous veneration, almost a worship of instinct. Love is described as a special feeling.
He's going to call it instinct. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. What I think it is it's more an exploitation of your, biological system. So it's more than just instinct. It's like a full exploitation, in the same way that Mountain Dew exploits my taste buds in a way that I would have otherwise naturally, not encountered. Man, okay, we got Raymond in the chat. Shout out. Finally done. Okay, did 7 hours. Man, that's an inspiration right there, man. Shout out to you. 7 hours. Gosh, I know I tuned in for a bit and liked it because I went out. Well, you were on even while I was doing some grocery shopping earlier today. Dang, yeah, you were on for a while, man. Is this human? Love is expensive. Yeah, absolutely. Very true. And you know the sad part about that, Raymond, it's not even like you'll ever know what the cost truly is, because when you think you've paid it, all you do is open up vast swaths of more things you got to pay. Suddenly it's like, well, you did all those things, but what about this stuff? So it's so expensive that the expense never ends. It's like a 4-dimensional type of expense. It's crazy. So, okay, moving in.
A set of ideas, not a sense of rationally observable principles, but a feeling.
A feeling.
Almost a worship of instinct. Love is described as a special feeling, not in a set of ideas, not a sense of rationally observable principles, but a feeling. You either have the feeling or you don't. You must be guided by your feeling.
You're either addicted or you're not. It's not an instinct to sit there and want to do, some kind of horrible refined drug substance. But that substance is hijacking a biological system. And it's never enough. Yeah, exactly. He-Man's cousin Human.
A prejudice against language. True lovers shouldn't talk too much. They should just feel the fluttering of their own hearts.
You should never ask a woman her age.
That's why music has a huge prestige, higher than, philosophy. When we're in love, we don't want to read philosophy.
So this is the passions being put over reason, okay? So passions being put over reason, all right? That's what's going on here. We're flipping the pyramid.
Tracks, we want to hear love songs. That is to do with our sense that emotion should be guiding us, not reason. Reason is the enemy in the romantic worldview of truly happy relationships.
Hey, so far, we're like halfway through it. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Follow reason, that's cold. It may be calculating. It's unromantic. And, there are so many things that are considered unromantic. And I would love to train our audience that every time something seems unromantic, question it. Is it truly unromantic if we define romanticism as the pursuit of a workable relationship? On that basis, is it unromantic to talk about money?
So it seems like what he's trying to do is kind of guide people a different way by sort of changing what the idea of romantic love is. Which I can kind of see, but, romantic love is just out there. But okay, all right, that's his way of going about it. I guess I could see the rationale. Peter Wright says, a great phrase is companionate love. It's the closest term we have to pair bonding. It was coined several decades ago and refers to long-term mature love, affection, etc. Yeah, I like that. And I think that's the important thing, because I think, and I know you've mentioned this and I think to me before, but it's the knee-jerk reaction for people when they hear, arranged marriage or something like that, or a marriage of reason, is that, oh, it's just this loveless, just dead, horrible thing. But that's not true. There are, like you're talking about, companionate love. Like, that's the true pair bond, is when you get this pragmatic stuff figured out, and then you guys, move forward on that. As opposed to this kind of whirlwind of emotions that inevitably goes away, and then you guys can't stand each other. Then the emotions flip negative. Then you guys hate each other. So I think that's important for people to recognize. Like, this doesn't mean like you're going to have this dull, colorless thing. And the ironic part is people that do completely let their feelings guide them is when the emotions do go away, they end up in the deadest of situations. People feel so alone in their own households with their, soulmate, so to speak. Gosh, that word soulmate. You should never ask a woman her weight, but you should ask her what car she drives. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Imagine you on the Autobahn right now.
Your dowry, it's my right.
Okay, moving in.
Is it unromantic to think long and hard about childhood patterns of psychological development? Is it anti-romantic to spend a lot of time thinking about families and friends and compatibility at that level?
Yeah, and to ask like, hey, so what does your family do? What do they do? What is your inheritance looking like here? This is what mine looks like. Let me see your credit report. This is my credit report. I think it's important that we have this discussion prior to, signing any legal contracts with each other.
All these things, in my view, belong to a truly adequate way of surveying whether a couple should be together. But
yep, and especially if you're going to do family creation and family reproduction, then it's like, yes, you need to do this. Otherwise, you end up where we are now, where we have this duct taped together welfare system, which is just here to try to pick up the pieces when everything falls apart. If families reproduced in this way, our society would be a lot stronger, I believe. And because they're, and frankly richer, and just there would be a lot more strength and community cohesion in that way. Cellmate, I'm not sure what that. Oh, cellmate for soulmate. That's a good one. Peter Wright says romanticism as the pursuit of a workable relationship. Fail. That word romantic can't be redefined, as you just said, Shaw. Yeah, that part I'm hesitant. Like, I want to give him a little benefit of the doubt to be like, okay, I could see he's just trying to slide it this way. You know what I mean? But I'm real hesitant with the redefining of words, like that. That one, I don't know about that one. So I'm with you on that. He needs a different phrase, like the Storgate or companionate love. Yeah, I like that. I agree with that. Romantic love. What if romantic love was this? No, we know what romantic love is, and it's not good. Okay, so we need to just get rid of that. Okay.
I'm also aware that nowadays these things are considered very unromantic. To live in a romantic...
Yeah, see, that's the gaslighting. Well, that's not very romantic. That's them telling you to bury your head in the sand and take a bad deal.
Culture means to live in a culture that has a set of ideas about how good couples should form. They should be formed by instinct, that everybody has a soulmate,
that
you'll recognize your soulmate by a special fluttery feeling, that you shouldn't be asked to account for that feeling. You should simply go for it and marry in Vegas in 2 weeks if that's what seizes you, and that you should be able to communicate deeply with your partner without using language, through that special medium of the heart, through the silence. Also, that you shouldn't criticize your partner, that true partners should love each other for who they really are, which means no desire to grow or change. You just accept someone. Couples in romantic culture will sometimes complain, you're trying to change me.
Yeah, this is I want to be my individual self. And the part about being an individual and living out your individuality is that that's like you as an individual, especially some of the way these people, they change over time. You know, you want this at a certain point, and then that phase ends, and then you want this, and then you're this now. And you want to, you know, settle down, and you want something real with the kids and all that, and the provider husband or whatever. And then that phase ends, and this is Coach's marriage wheel, essentially, right? Then wife becomes a feminist again, and bam, well, you know, you're trying to change me, but the people they're changing themselves. They change them.
And this is seen as really offensive. It's like, what? You know, you complain to your friends. My partner's trying to change me. Oh, what an awful person. It must be awful. You must get out immediately. If you went to an ancient Greek, if you went to Athens in 400 BC.
Okay, time of Plato, you know, Aristotle, all the folks over there.
And you said to an ancient Greek, what is love? And where is the role of criticism? They would say, love is a process of education. It's the education of emotion. And lovers should, of course, be able to pick each other up for things that they don't spot in one another. And they should be trying to develop into the best version of themselves, rather than simply staying stuck in an admiration for who they are today.
That's really interesting. I mean, it's interesting that he uses it as a type of education. I mean, I can't say I'm super familiar with that ancient Greek understanding of love right there. So that's interesting. You know, well, I mean, Plato wrote a whole book called the Symposium. It's somewhere on my shelf. It's a shorter one. And they discuss all the common sense versions of love, and then they get to, you know, kind of what they believe that it is. And yes, it is very different. The ancient Greek ethos or value system is very different. You know, like an apology. There's a text called The Apology, and it's Socrates not really saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. It's more so, here's an explanation and me defending what I did and what you're accusing me of, and I'm going to give you an apology. But it's pretty much me explaining and giving an argument or describing my side of the thing. It's not just me kind of, you know, saying I'm sorry. So I think there might be a similar thing when it comes to love.
The whole process should be dynamic. Become who you could be, not worship who you happen to be right now. All of this sounds very strange in romantic culture, which is why relationships are so difficult in our time. Let's remember that a person's life satisfaction is determined by up to around 70% by the quality of their personal relationships.
That's interesting. I don't know if Raymond's still watching, but I know sometimes he'll mention, you know, a guy, you know, like guys are having trouble with relationships with women. I'm not trying to like sound black-pilled or anything like that, but if this guy's saying 70% of your happiness is determined by the quality of your personal relations, and the guy can't get a girlfriend, then yeah, I could kind of I can kind of understand. You know, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
A Martian hearing that statistic, visiting planet Earth, would think, well, clearly Earthlings, given the enormous role of love, will be spending 70% of their money and 70% of their educational time working out how on earth this business of love works. Is that...
they probably do. I feel like people spend probably a lot more time and money on trying to figure this out, or how do I, you know, get the girl I like, or whatever it happens to be. Shout out to the 22 people watching. We got 12 likes. If the other 10 people could hit that like button, we could take this stream to heights that we've never seen before, you know, so let's move.
True? No. We spend hardly any time rationally thinking about it.
Okay,
none of us are made
rationally.
to sit through classes in attachment theory, classes in apology, classes in listening, classes in communication. No, we're, you know, physics is important, geography is important, don't get me wrong. But is there no time for this, given its role in our lives? Do we really want to leave this to chance? And the answer is yes. And why? Because
the chance and the gamble of it makes that love feeling so much more addicting. It's just like, I want to be, you know, the women will say they want to be swept off their feet. You're head over heels in love. and they don't want to. It's almost like impossible to apply this kind of reason to it because it, as they say, it's unromantic. It takes away the beauty of it. So they don't want to hear that. They want to be living. They want to be in the whole. They want to be swept up by it.
We live in a romantic culture that sees something adverse in planning and thinking and reflecting too hard on the business of love. It's very deleterious, and it's been a serious problem for humanity.
And this is, goes into dating too. It's like you can't sit there and have these overt discussions. I mean, you can, but then you might get hit with the let's just be friends kind of thing. Instead, it's just like, oh, how do you kind of keep the fantasy going, for the other person? But, the thing that people have observed is those people that manage to do that the best seem to get their way, at least for a time, so to speak, and have the other person wrapped around their finger, so they don't go in there and say, let's talk about, how do you go about, when you get in an argument in a relationship, like what's your communication about apologizing, this is how we're going to sit down and have weekly meetings about how we're feeling. I don't know. You know what I mean? But instead it's like, well, there's this game of love. And, if you apologize, then, they might lose respect for you and you failed the shit test, so to speak. And attraction diminishes until, well, I just don't feel that spark anymore. The spark. So, yeah.
Humanity. One of the most powerful disseminators of romantic culture is art. And by art, I mean all the leading artistic media. Film, definitely. If you were learning about love from films, you would be very confused. And that's why many of us are confused, because films, and I include that television shows and other...
Well, it's not even just films, right? I mean, it goes back to romantic novels and, even all the way back to tales of these, romantic chivalry with knights and all these kinds of things. But, so it has a history there.
Narrative forms,
films nowadays.
These things are hugely misleading. They simply do not show what a real relationship is like. I mean, probably you can count on one hand the number of films that have accurately shown love. I think one of the most accurate representations of love is Richard Linklater's Before trilogy, which ended up with Before Midnight.
Never seen this movie.
It's a wonderful reckoning, really, with the real complexities of love. But, most films are not that. Most films are blithe, are superficial, are not modest enough in showing us what's really going on between couples. It's also disseminated through music. I mean, music constantly gives us little miniature stories about, how love works.
Well, it's either the greatest thing ever. I feel like with music, it's like there's two kinds of songs around love. It's the greatest thing ever. And then on the other end, it's like a complete tragedy, it's all about the heartbreak and it's just like the worst thing ever, so it's like you're either like feeling on top of the world when you're in love, or there's all the songs about, the heartbreak and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure you guys can think of some. Love Richard Linklater. I'll have to watch those movies. They sound interesting. He has a good point. He has a point, though. In all of my education, I never encountered a philosophy, a topic. The different form of love should be taught. Yeah, I agree with that. I think there should be discussions about that. Man, the school I went to, I wanted to take philosophy early on, but I can't remember. There was a lot of programs that got cut at my school. Funding wasn't the best over there. They may have had it. I don't know. I couldn't end up taking it, though. I did take plenty of it in college, though, which I appreciate. I like the Key His Car love song. Yeah, there you go.
And, the music is terrific, but it's not accurate to what's going on. And it presses the wrong buttons. Poetry, no one really reads poetry nowadays. If they did, the problem exists in poetry too. So we have so much media around, and yet we're still so much strangers to ourselves. I would say...
I hate to kind of like, I mean, I wish I could get into poetry, because I did a little bit of that in college. Like some classes and writing composition and stuff like that. And I actually appreciated those classes, and I it's unfortunate. You know, there's a lot to be said about poetry and poets. He did A Scanner Darkly. Oh, okay, I remember that. And A Waking Life too. Very philosophical. Man, all those movies sound good. I remember A Scanner Darkly.
That the single greatest, most misleading disseminator of ideas on love is culture and art. The problem is very heavily located there.
That was awesome. That was like 95%, I think pretty good, right? Right, guys? So other than some of the things, Peter Wright there pointed out. But overall, man, this is a great clip. Let me get the grid off and let's go ahead and see what the comments say. Will everybody be defending love? Who's going to be down there in the comments? Let's find out. Okay. He had a plow. She had an ox. Can I make it any more obvious? I think Orem would want me to hit the like button on that. Attachment theory, trauma, green and red flag, signs, cringe, bare minimum, etc. Modern dating just feels like an exam now. The soulmate plus instinct knows best narrative is honestly the most toxic fairy tale we all got sold. Yeah, soulmate. The soulmate. Gosh, I feel like I can do a whole standalone discussion, for all of like 8 minutes on this idea of the soulmate. That's definitely something I'd like to talk about. I'm going to write that down in my notes here, where I have my standalone notes, soulmates. Romance. Okay. So we'll have to get to that. By the way, 16 people in here, 13 likes. Just want to say while we got people in here, I'm hoping to post the panel discussion with Paul Elam, Matt Cross from the 33 Secrets, John from It's Complicated, and myself, ideally tomorrow. It's all uploaded. It's ready to go. I'm just waiting on approval from one more of the participants. Once I get that, hopefully I can get that by tomorrow. I'd love to post that for y'all tomorrow around noon. That way you guys can kind of enjoy watching and listening to that. I hope you guys do enjoy it. It's incoming. It's all done and edited, and I hope you guys appreciate it when it gets posted, if you can share that. Okay. He did a pretty good job of keeping it real. Yeah, I think so. I think that was, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was a far cry of, the stuff we usually, like, it's different from what we usually see, which was refreshing. So shout out to John from It's Complicated for sending me that. I was positively surprised. Got to admit that, especially for a guy who moved to London. Can't get over that. Yeah, I was waiting for the Scott Galloway to come out. But it's, it didn't, really. So yeah, you know what? Shout out to that. Okay, back to the comments. Romance is the root of evil, i.e. simping. Yeah, and that's what that is. That's essentially blue pill. And shout out to you, Fang Yuan. Thanks for coming in. Great to see you. Many people avoid love because love requires transformation. In a world that offers convenience, validation, pleasure, and independence on demand, we often cling to comfort rather than choosing the growth that real love demands. And I hope he's talking about companionate love there, like Peter Wright pointed out. In the panel discussion that hopefully is going public tomorrow, Paul kind of gets into some of this in that discussion. So that'll be fun. We treat planning / talking like it's unromantic, then wonder why relationships implode. Yeah. And you know what? Let it be unromantic. Let the devil take romance. All right. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Get out of here, romance. We don't, you can go now. Yes, it is. You know what? It is unromantic. So you got a problem with that? Yes, thank you. I am unromantic. Someone wants you to be romantic. They're just telling you that they want you to lie to them. And then people do that. Then they lie to them and, they get it in. And then after a few months, they're pissed. They're like, why can't I find nothing real? Everybody just wants to use me. Well, yeah, if you want to be romanced, you want to be lied to. Alas, the voice that guided me through my worst heartbreaks. All right, well, hey, shout out to this guy. I met someone organically recently, and what I'm experiencing is so different than what I see most people going through around me. It's like all the cultural crap I imagined I'd have to deal with, red flags, icks, love bombing, breadcrumbing, etc., doesn't even exist. It's just me and this guy in an innocent bubble like Adam and Eve. Please pray. I mean, I don't know. She sounds like she's still in a little, she's still kind of living in a fantasy over here. We didn't hear nothing practical, and it sounds like they just met. She's basically saying I didn't meet someone on a dating app, but okay. You know, hey, shout out to you. Hopefully it works out for you. I share almost no interest with my wife, but we have a common outlook on life and morality. It seems to be enough for love to bloom. Okay, I mean, you know, that's a little better. I didn't hear nothing about this.
Dowry, it's my right.
But maybe that was in there somewhere. There's actually a rainbow designation, aromantic. It's the A in LGBTQAI. IA. Okay, that's interesting. Aromantic. Well, okay. Well, I'll look into that to make sure it's the kind of aromantic that we're talking about. You know, before I put the flag up on the wall behind me. I want to be careful. I do want to be careful with that.
Oh, no, not the rainbow version. Never mind. That says rainbow.
That's interesting. Okay. Fantasy. Yeah, that was a fantasy comment. Paul came in guns blazing on its complicated interview towards PUAs and what they turned Red Pill into. Andrew Tate, after getting entangled with the police state and being incarcerated, has changed. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't really kept up with him so much lately. He definitely got the horns, you know, being Mr. Matador. He certainly got the horns there. It's people who really like aromas. Yeah. Okay. Wow, he really came for the poets at the end. Happily married for over 20 years to someone I chose, going against my family, best decision ever. Okay, Jane, well, it's not surprising it's a woman who wrote that comment, but okay, shout out to her 20-year comment, to her 20-year marriage there. Hey, real quick, do you guys want to, okay, well, maybe we'll do a poll. One of the biggest challenges I've found through the few serious relationships I've been in is that people are never fully satisfied with what they've got. It seems as humans, we're always on the lookout for something better, someone that brings new excitement and mystery into our lives. That sounds like the love life right there, living with romance. More people are in a state of consumption than a state of love. Listen to most popular music. It's not about being in love. It's about using. Okay, this person kind of seems like they're trying to defend romantic love. Well, that's not what love. You know, that's the thing about these romantic love people. Every time we get to witness the disaster and the consequences from it, it's like, but that wasn't real love, though. That wasn't real love. But nuh-uh. That's not what real love is. See, that was just lust. That wasn't real love. But, all right, whatever. Okay. Guys, I kind of want to watch this Eddie Murphy Raw here. It's a bit, and I must have saved it for a reason. Let's go ahead and do this. But before we get there, before we watch this and have some good laughs. Oh my God. And there's also one on marriage. Okay, but there's a second. I never watched this. I don't know if this is good. This might suck, but it's the same guy, and I think maybe we can watch it. So, you know, if it sucks, then that's it. We'll dip out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hang out with this for a bit, kind of stretch our legs for a bit, listen to that. Maybe take a sip of water, and then we're going to get here. This one's twice as long. I can't promise you it's going to be good, but let's see. So let me just catch up with the chats real quick. And then we'll go ahead and get to Eddie Murphy. I'm excited to watch Eddie Murphy. Call me aromantic. Just don't put me on that damn sexuality flag. Yeah, exactly. I guess we kind of walked into that one, didn't we, Peter? I can imagine like you and I both walking to like some type of like meeting or gathering. Like, hi, we're here for the aromantic anonymous meeting. And it's just, we get in there and it's just plastered. It's plastered with the flags.
No, not the rainbow version. Never mind. That says rain.
And we're just like, wait a minute. We were here for the aromantic stuff, the discussions there. This might be something else. It is aromantic or asexual. Anyways, I would love it. Asexual. Aromantic. Okay. Yo, Anonymous. Good to see you. OF. Okay. Klaus says, already called that. It's never enough. Absolutely. Aromantic, often shortened to aro, describes people who do not experience romantic. You know what? I might have to update my dating apps with that. I'm going to be like, I'm aro. They're going to be like, what's aro? Oh, I'm aromantic. One of the meanings of the A is aromantic. Love equals a man making sacrifices for a woman and the woman living happily ever after, alone or with somebody else. Alone happily ever after. Aromanticism involves forms of attraction that are not necessarily romantic or interest in relationships that are intimate in other ways. There is no singular experience of aromanticism. The aromantic spectrum, also known as arospec, ranges from aromantic to alloromantic. Okay, the latter referring to, I think referring to people who regularly and consistently experience romantic attraction. Oh, because that's alloromantic. Hey, Heroes Forge, welcome in, man. Good to see you. Howdy, gents. Oh, hey, Peter is in the chat. Yep. People within the aromantic spectrum are part of a community that has much in common. They may use the label aromantic as a close fit for their experiences or use other labels that further describe. So that sounds like the official definition there. Finished, that's the wiki. Okay, that makes sense. That's the wiki definition. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to have some fun here listening to Eddie Murphy. Then we're going to get back to the seriousness again. And then once I finish this, I'll probably call ye old stream. And so let's go and have some laughs, guys. Also, shout out to Luke Nielsen. I haven't seen him in the chat, but if you watch this afterwards, shout out to you. Okay, let's go and move in.
All you have to do, you marry a man with $300 million, is fuck your husband. That's it.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay.
All you have to do, you marry a man with $300 million, is fuck your husband. That's it.
I think he said all you have to do to be married to a man with $300 million is F your husband.
That's your job. Fuck your husband. That's it. That's just fuck your husband. You fill out a W-2. They say, what you do? You say, I fuck my husband. That's it. And I've had my share of pussy. I have yet. Even if the pussy was great and sparks shot out the woman's ass and cannons bled and the mountains crumbled and the seas roared, no pussy is worth $150 million.
Man, I know Coach has covered some stories of guys fumbling some major bags, and it sounds like, I don't know when this was shot, but this was probably like 20 years ago, and he probably saw some major bag fumbles. I know maybe Shannon Sharp style.
No pussy. I like to meet some pussy like that. Put the shit on layaway. That shit scared the shit out of me. Half? I was petrified, man. You know what's real scary is that American women in the 80s have become very business conscious. Y'all the most resourceful and the most business smart women on the planet now in the 80s.
Oh, gosh. Was this in the 80s? This kind of reminds me of Coach's Men Are in Love, Women Are in Business. But yes, that's, man, look at these gloves. Look at these stylish gloves. Are we bringing these back, guys? Like, is this going to become the style again? This is some interesting stuff here.
And it would be an asset
this was 40 years
to us as American men if you weren't so vindictive. Because the two don't match. It's like, and then
see, he was spotting this way before. Wow, this is amazing.
What's really fucked up is that y'all are the most loving people. American women are all off into this romance, want to be romantic, and they generally fall in love with you. Now, love and money do not mix. The shit don't mix, especially you got a business smart woman and the love and shit. You go up to a woman and say, baby, I never met anybody like you before in my life. Shit, I never met anyone like you either. Why don't we be together? Why don't we be together? Baby, will you marry me? I thought you would never ask. Well, before we get married, why don't you sign this prenuptial agreement?
This is good, man.
What do you mean sign a prenuptial agreement? Well, that's the contract that stipulates if we would ever break up, you take what you had when you came into a relationship and I take what I had.
Exactly. Yep. You take what you, and that's what marriage was for the longest time. That is the dowry system, quite literally.
Your dowry, it's my right.
It is that, you know, and if you go back through the law codes and you look at what happens when there's a dissolution, that's what it is. It's like her dowry is hers and his is his. And that's really what it is when they divide up the conjugal fund that way. And if there's children, then there's certain obligations there. But this whole community property thing, especially when one person doesn't bring nothing, we gotta start making different decisions.
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp.
I gotta
land we
change
can
this.
get.
I gotta shorten
I
it.
don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful, she's rich, she's got huge tracts of land.
Okay, wait, Heroes Forge just got in here. I'm sorry, I gotta play this one more time. And shout out to Michael Sayin for sending this to me. It's from Monty Python. All right, this is the difference between the marriage of reason and the love match. All right, this is the simpin'. This is the romance guy. This is the what the hell. This is, dad probably trying to talk some sense into his boy.
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
But I don't like her.
Don't like her?
I know.
What's wrong with her? She's
I don't
beautiful,
like her.
She's rich, she's got huge tracts of land. Herbert.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. That clip is so good, and you're gonna hear me play this sound effect. Probably, it's probably gonna happen a lot. Yeah, Klaus, I agree. Gym gloves in public. Let's go. That's gonna be the new thing. I forgot what. Oh, hey, welcome in, Oikophobic. Wow, he told it like it. He certainly is. Yeah, 40 years ago.
What do you mean sign a prenuptial agreement? Well, that's the contract that stipulates if we would ever break up, you take what you had when you came into a relationship and I take
this
what I
can almost be a sound effect right here.
had.
With the popped collar on the suit jacket too?
First of all, I don't give a fuck who you are and what you have, okay? You got a whole lot of motherfucking nerve gonna ask me to sign a contract to show you that I love you. First of all, there's nothing that a man can do for me that I can't do for myself. I got a job and I don't need shit from you. You got a whole lot of I love you. Who the hell you think gonna tell me to sign a contract to show you that I love you?
See, I'm sure he heard that plenty of times from women, especially, given who he is.
If I need something, I can go to my family. My family takes care of me. You got a whole lot of men hear all that shit and we be like this.
Me too, Heroes. Oh, crap. Oh, thanks for reminding me, Dan the Man. Okay, yeah, we're going to definitely watch your clip. We're going to watch your clip right after. You know what? The hell with it. Let's watch your clip now, because I told you I would do that next. Oh, crap. I can't do it. Oh, sorry. I was panicking. Listen, I might not actually be able to watch this because it's on YouTube Movies, but it does say it's free, so if you guys see a black screen or don't hear any sound, then sorry, my screens are wigging out. Okay, I don't think I can watch it actually. Yeah, no, dude, it's gonna mess up the stream. I don't think I can. Dang, I definitely really. All right, you know what? We're gonna try to watch it, and if it ruins the stream, I'm sorry, everybody. But I know typically with this, they don't. YouTube can see if you're doing a screen recording program on this. But you know what, Dan? For you, man, we're gonna do it. So 1319, and let's see what they say. Put the blocker, put the grid on it. All right, we'll try.
You know what? Why don't I just say, here's 12 men, trust.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's see what this is about. You know what? Why don't I just say, here's 12 men, trust me.
Terrific. Let's talk about the dowry. I think we should double it.
Okay, well, that's cool. They said dowry. I wonder what this is, the context of this
Here's
is.
12 men, trust me. Terrific. Let's talk about the dowry. I think we should
I wonder if she's being tongue-in-cheek, probably.
If they can't stand the sight of me now, what makes you think they'll be able to for double?
Oh, now, with that attitude.
Oh, yeah, it's my attitude, Mother.
There seems to be something going on. Okay, well, I accidentally clicked it to a different spot, but yeah, thanks for that. I like anytime I spot any. Oh my God. Okay, hold on a second. YouTube's giving me something. Let me just get away from this. Can you guys confirm that you can still hear me? We're gonna go back to Eddie Murphy. YouTube, don't kill the stream. Do not kill the stream, please. It says not receiving enough video to maintain smooth stream. I think it just tripped out when I went on that. So sorry, Dan, I can't watch more of that. Just to try to change the subject a little bit so YouTube gets off my back. I went to a retro media store and it was full of DVDs and CDs. And they were selling DVDs for $2 a DVD over there. And I found this DVD and it's called Kingsguard. Look at that, $1.99 from the Cave. Right? Now, I'm going to read to you what this is about, okay? Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can see it. It says, Commander Augustus Talbert was the pride of the Kingsguard, the elite fighting force protecting the royal family. But when he betrays the king by teaming up with evil Lord Morton to attack the castle, the guards escape with beautiful Princess Gwendolyn and her dowry. Okay, yeah. So now you know, I saw this and I was like, $2? Hell yeah, I'm buying this movie. This movie has everything I want to see. It's got a dowry. It's got sword fighting. There's a beautiful princess in it. There's castles. What's not to like? You know what I mean? So yeah, I haven't actually watched this in its entirety yet, but I'm gonna watch that. So we're gonna find out if this gentleman escorts this lady and her huge dowry. Now, what I can't promise you is what might happen is the hero might fall in love with the princess, or she might fall in love with him, even though she's married to somebody else, and then it might just get all gynocentric on us. I haven't made it there yet, so I can't tell you exactly what's gonna happen. But if it does, then I will be, pretty disappointed by that. Though, what else do we expect? So, okay, yeah, I don't think YouTube is going to cut the stream. I think we've sufficiently made it. We can go back. Sorry about that, guys. I kind of panicked a little bit. But yeah, I love huge tracts of land. Absolutely. Yeah, me too. I love huge tracts of land also. Chris Brown had a prenuptial of 22 years. His wife cleaned his bank account 21 years, 10 months before maturity. Wow. And in courts, prenups are thrown out by judges since their commission is there. Yeah, they're unfortunately just not reliable enough. At least it doesn't seem that way. Real quick, Raymond Thoughts Mine, thanks for the donation, man. I appreciate that. One of two things is going to happen with that money. I'll probably put that in my dowry chest, or I might spend that on retro gear. So very possible that I do that. So yes, I will try to be responsible. Thank you for that, man. Have you seen Highlander? I actually have not seen Highlander. I've heard of it. I've not actually watched it. That's a classic one too. Was that a TV show or, it's a film, 1986. Okay, I gotta buy this. Yeah, I like the look of this. I might have actually seen this though. When the mystical Russell Nash kills a man in a sword fight in a New York City parking lot, he leaves a sliver of an ancient weapon lodged in a car. In the process, and brilliant forensic specialist Brenda Wyatt recovers evidence of the mysterious weapon. She and her partner, Lieutenant Frank Moran, embark on an investigation of Nash that will land them in the middle of a dangerous centuries-old feud between powerful immortals. This sounds like a good movie. I definitely want to watch this, man. I like this kind of stuff. I don't care if it's nerdy or what. I like this. There can only be one. I definitely like this right here. Man, I really want to get into like 80s, 90s like fantasy films. I actually follow a group, one of those pages, and it always posts stills from like these classic fantasy movies. And some of them look really good, and I always tell myself like I'm going to go watch it, and then like I never do, but I need to go back to this group and just find some of the big ones, and watch it. So, yeah. Thank you for that, Raymond. I appreciate you, man. DVD is retro now. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, just like cassette tapes, man. Look at this. Bare Naked Ladies. The cassette tape. See that? Isn't that pretty cool? I'd play it for you guys on stream, but I don't want any more problems. Isn't that so cool? I've been listening to this. I keep my little Walkman over here. Well, it's not a Walkman. I wish it was. But, you know, I found this and I fixed it. I had to replace the band in it. Pretty sick. It's pretty sick. So, got that going on. Shaw, I'm serious. We can't be friends if you haven't seen Highlander. Okay, it's gonna be top priority for me. I promise. It's gonna be top priority. I believe it. I believe that it's good. I'm sure Orem can back that up too. So you know what? I'll do more than watch it. I'll purchase it because I want to watch it on my CRT TV. You know, the way it was probably meant to be watched. Back in the day, man. The level of accumulation that just keeps happening in this room. I really gotta figure stuff out. I just got another camera over here. We might get another angle coming in soon. I got an AC adapter for that. I bought a PlayStation Vita off eBay. It's coming from Japan. Shout out to PlayStation. I did surgery with my buddy. And when I say I mean my buddy did most of it. On that PlayStation 3 right there, it was having overheating issues, but like we fixed it. It was crazy. So that's pretty cool. BNL Canada represent. Shout out. Oh, Bare Naked Ladies are from Canada. I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I just remember them because when I was a kid, you know, there was this movie called Digimon and the song played it, and I thought it was a cool song. So when I got older, I was like, I want that song. And now, you know, then I learned about them. The rest of the, you know, this cassette tape, like the whole album, people aren't like super keen on it. But I don't think it's that bad. I actually think it's pretty, like I was listening. You know, the nice things about playing a cassette is like you kind of got to like listen to everything. And it's like the way I've been listening to music is like I find individual songs that I like and I put them on the playlist. But like I forgot that there's a little bit of like, there's a little bit to be said of like how the musician ordered songs on an album. And this probably sounds basic to most of you guys, but like I haven't been listening to albums from beginning to end, which is probably the way you're supposed to listen to them because it's trying to like run you through a theme maybe. So going back to cassettes, I got my tape deck right there. I actually put it down and dang it, there's a moth in here or something. Damn it. What is that? That's what I get for leaving the window open. But yeah, I was like, oh man, I kind of like the flow, you know, instead of like, what I usually do is listen to playlists of just random things that I like, but they have nothing to do with each other. So this is interesting for me. We're going to get back to Eddie Murphy here real soon. I just want to catch up on some of these chats. Historically speaking, romantic marriage isn't the norm in the teachings and older sermons from before the 1850s. Okay, that's important to know right there, Heroes Force. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's it seems like it, you know, it kind of got co-opted a bit, or it sort of found its way in there. Hoodie by Nature. It's fine. It's only a few seconds. Okay. Eddie's hood. Let's see. We got to have a movie night in Discord or something. Man, that would actually be really cool, Dan the Man. I really like that. I really like that suggestion. Raymond Thoughts and Mine just sent me a message here with the Highlander trailer. Ooh. It looks pretty bad. I'm telling you, I do not doubt it. I better watch this movie. I do not want Raymond Thoughts and Mine coming after me. I want to stay in on the friendship side of this. I don't want to have to, he put a bunch of crossed swords in there. Exactly. Paul Elam did a great job of explaining this tangle. He calls it the Great Conflation. I like that right there. That sounds like a classic article from Paul Elam. I don't know if I've actually read that. I'll have to find that one. Toyota makes a great Highlander. They do. I mean, most Toyota vehicles are pretty sound. OP Seeker, just don't touch the sequel. Shout out to you, OP Seeker. Thanks for being in here. Highlander. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Orem is like the #1 fantasy guy. Like, as far as our chat is concerned, I think he's probably been through like most fantasy novels and movies, and his opinion carries a lot of weight on that. Yes, cassettes and albums are awesome. Listening experience is great. You know what I was trying to find? I was trying to find a Daft Punk cassette, and I just couldn't. And the only ones I could find are like $100 and something for the cassette, and then there's like no guarantee the cassette's gonna work. And what I did is I spent like $77, and I got a Japanese CD Daft Punk release, and it's actually I think it's like a 3 CD. It's 3 CDs in a bundle, and I'm really hoping that like they work fine. I'm kind of gambling on this deal. But I suddenly became like obsessed with trying to find Daft Punk's Discovery album on cassette. I couldn't, so I settled for getting a CD of it. But, you know, here's hoping. Albums. I release my music as albums. Each one has a tale from song to song. Yeah, see, that's what I'm starting to appreciate a bit. Okay, so Eddie Murphy talking about prenups. This is pretty good.
A whole lot of men hear all that shit, and we be like this. Okay. We don't need no contract. And you don't get a contract and get married without one, and the shit don't work out. And you break up a year later, she's sitting around in the kitchen by herself, man, trying to figure out a way to get even with your ass. I can't believe that motherfucker did this to me.
Oh, so even if you get the prenup, she's still mad. I mean, listen, we watched that Dr. Grande video last week of that woman, you know, that had the prenup, and, you know, she fed toxic substances to the husband, and it was all bad.
After all the shit I did, he gonna make it. I did all the thing I did for that motherfucker. Make me do this to me. Well, shit, I don't get him, and his fat bitch can kiss my ass. I don't get shit by either one. I don't know. He got a whole lot of nerve. I don't want shit from him or her, and I don't care. You know something? You know what? Half. I take half his shit, and they'll get it. They'll get you half your money, your house, your car, alimony, child support.
Man, see, this is 40 years ago he was talking about this. Man, he must have seen some real disasters. I wonder what his situation with his marriages were like. I wonder, like, did Eddie Murphy get married? Well, I'm sure he did. Eddie Murphy, wife. That's really interesting. So from what I'm seeing here, according to Google, he was married from 93 to 2006, and then he wasn't married until 2024. Is currently married to Australian model and actress Paige Butcher. Well, you know, she's an actress.
Your dowry, it's my right.
The couple tied the knot on July 9, 2024 in a private ceremony in Anguilla, following a 12-year relationship. So see, so there was no state contract there for 12 years. And then finally he was like, okay. So she's a model and an actress who has appeared in films like Something's Gotta Give and Big Mom. Oh, Big Mama's House 2. Okay, no, hold on. Big Mama's House 1. Man, I used to love that movie. I got to get my hands on a copy of Big Mama's House. Dang. And also the remake of Nutty Professor. She and Murphy have 2 children together, daughter Izzy, born in 2016. So that's prior to the marriage. So they had 2 children born out of wedlock and then got married in 2024. And I mean, I think some of this probably has some reason, you know, for that. But let's go read about the first marriage. Eddie Murphy. Early life. Man, I want to read about his personal life. Let's see. Singing career, personal life. Okay. Murphy had 2 sons at the end of the 80s with Paulette McNeely and Chris. Okay, so he wasn't married to him, so we know that. Murphy began a long-time romantic relationship with Nicole Mitchell after meeting her in 1988. Is that the first wife? Yeah, Nicole. Okay, no. Yeah, so that was the first wife. Okay. They lived together for almost 2 years before getting married. Murphy Mitchell have 5 children together. Okay, they had 5 kids. The divorce was finalized 2006. No fault divorce, irreconcilable differences. All right. Yeah, you know, and then he got someone. So we had a pregnancy allegation here. I don't know whose child that is until it comes out and has a blood test. Yep, so he already been dealing with child support. You shouldn't jump to conclusions, sir. Brown gave birth to... DNA test did confirm it. Okay. Man, I got all the Rush Hours on DVD. I got a DVD set of those. Yeah, Rush Hour is fantastic. Now that was Chris Tucker. I mean, I know you're not saying it was Eddie Murphy, but do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Don't you ever touch a black man's radio. Thank you for that donation, by the way. Appreciate you, Raymond. LOL, did they get married at Big Mama's house or they just meet there? I don't know why that's so funny. It just kind of is. But okay, well, yeah, and then he got married to this other lady now. So, all right, cool. Okay. Let's finish this out.
Children, you will be on the cover of the Inquirer like this, and they'll get it. They'll get half your money, your house, your car, alimony, child support, and your children. You will be on the cover of the Inquirer like this.
That's a perfect face. Man, that's a screenshot right there. That's a screenshot. Let me just go ahead. I'm just going to screenshot this now for later use. Oh, gosh. Oh, just excuse me. I hope this doesn't ruin the stream. Okay. I've never screenshotted on stream before. Fantastic. I'm going to save this. That's going to come in handy somewhere. I don't know where, but it will. Mulan. Hey, I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend. I remember Mulan when I was a kid. That was a good movie, the animated one anyways. I never saw they made like a live action later on, but that was a good movie. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was interesting. I might actually get that on DVD too. That's another one I gotta look for. Man, see, there's all these amazing things. Oh, sorry, I pulled the wrong one up. Mulan. Yeah. Thanks again for that $2. Appreciate you. Every $2 you send me, Raymond is literally gonna get me another $1.99 DVD from this store in the cave, which is like I'm recently has my fancy now. Don't get copyright struck. I know. The whole next video too is I have to use the grid on. How many kids is that? I think 7. Yeah, there was probably more that we missed. There was 5 plus 2 plus the unplanned pregnancy. That was 8, and I think there might be some with this Australian model. Oh, yeah. The Australian model, they had 2 kids. I think that's 10 kids, actually. So, yeah. I'm a donkey. I actually have Shrek. I do have Shrek. Shrek 1 is a good movie. It's a fantastic movie. I love that movie. Dang. Yeah, no, that movie was always funny. All right, moving in.
So be careful.
He was the dragon. Yeah, that's right.
I start having nightmares.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't even put that together. Right, yeah, it's because he's in there. Yeah, he was the dragon. I forgot about that. And he was Donkey. Oh, that's so cool.
Waking up in the middle of the night like this. Ah!
That's what happened to me after I started working at child support.
I start having nightmares. I was waking up in the middle of the night like this. Ah!
After, like, I really understood the system, like, after I got trained and I was working the job, I was running home. Like, I was running home to my buddies. Like, we're all mid-20s. We all just got, like, our first jobs for them, like, first real out-of-college kind of jobs. And I'm like, wait, guys, you got to listen to me. Like, I'm out of breath running home from the child support agency. I'm like, you have to listen to me. You know what I mean? Like, I had to tell them, like, as many of my buddies as I can, like, just so you know. Please know this, because I kept seeing too much stuff over there. Like, yes, it was kind of like that. I used to call it CSPTSD, Child Support Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. Like, I think there is a form of that. I don't know if Orem ever got that. Maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion, but CSPTSD. No, CSI PTSD, Child Support Induced Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. And that's not even from a guy paying it, God forbid. That's just from someone working there. Shrek is goated, absolutely. You mean stink. Let's get down to business. To defeat the Huns, did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? Oh, yeah. Man, there were some good musical numbers in there. I remember, yeah. See, that was a good one. And then there's Make a Man Out of You. That was, like, I think probably one of the main ones. And then there's the beginning song where like she's trying to be taught how to be a good wife. And then she, messed that up, basically. But then she saved the whole kingdom, so I guess it made up for that. In second Mulan, they talk about the whole romantic love thing. Interesting. I've never ever seen the sequel. Maybe someday. Doing YouTube has made me give up on women. Man, when I hear something like that, it's like I feel like I want to say something, but at the same time, I feel like there's nothing I can say that doesn't come off as like annoying. You know what I mean? And I get it. I get it. In some ways. I was feeling a little down about some of that, kind of recently. Part of me kind of felt like I lost my voice earlier, not in like a I kept talking sort of way, but in a way where I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to do the stream tonight. I'm glad I did it though, because we're having so much fun. But part of me was like, I don't even know if I really feel like saying anything. Like I kind of, it could just be my video game addiction. I kind of just wanted to sit down in this chair and play some Uncharted and just not talk, but I'm glad we're doing that. So I think I was immunized because I had a case when I started there. I see. Oh yeah, so you got inoculated. That would make sense. And I had a deadbeat dad. I see. I understand. Yeah. See, for me, I'm like fresh face coming in there, like completely ignorant to any of the stuff. I'm just like, this seems like interesting. I'll take this, job, and then I get it. Disney sequels suck. I wouldn't recommend it. Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks for saving me that time. You know what other sequel sucked? Gladiator 2. I also got Gladiator on DVD. I just don't understand how, like, this movie directed by Ridley Scott can be so amazing, Gladiator. And then they make a Gladiator 2, and it's directed by the same guy, and the movie's horrible. And I don't want to blame him. It must have been the industry that forced him to make it suck. Even the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey wasn't bad. 2010, I can't remember what the next words were in the title. But damn, God, like Gladiator 2. Nothing in that movie made me want to watch it more than the one time I paid to watch it in theaters. But gosh, I really, unfortunately, I wish it was good. It wasn't good. All right.
Because I'm into American women. I like American women. I got a friend, got a Japanese girlfriend, and Japanese women are the most docile women on the planet. That's real timid women. Like, I walked in the house, and his friend, Japanese girl, bowed to me when I walk in. I said, what's wrong with your wife? Back and shit. He said, that's a Japanese thing. They always bow. I was like, oh, shit. And I said, miss, did you decorate the house? And she looked at her husband. The husband did like this. You may speak. And she spoke. And I was like, now that's pussy control for you there. Because I'm used to American women saying, you don't own me.
I'm sure there's a lot of Japanese men right now that are like, no, this is not true. At least not anymore.
Baby, where you going? Excuse me? I said, where you going? You don't own me. You my woman, ain't you? I don't see no rings on these fingers. Are you gonna put a ring on this finger? Well, well, then you don't own me in, okay? First of all, let me tell you, I don't give a fuck who you are or what you have, okay? You gotta...
He's asking for wife benefits, but he hasn't married me yet. Raymond Thoughts and Mine says, 2010, the year we make contact. Yeah, that's what it was. That was a good movie, too. It wasn't 2001, but it wasn't a bad movie. Like, I'd watch it twice, and I did watch it more than once. All these worlds are yours, except Europa. Attempt no landing there. Use them together. Use them in peace. Gosh, that makes me want to watch that movie again and also get it on DVD. Yeah, that was interesting there, especially about how, like, they go over what went wrong with the AI, and something in, like, the mission directive made it have to do what it did, apparently. There were parts of that movie where I kind of got some jump scares a little bit. You'll know what I'm talking about. You know, where he's in there and then suddenly he sees, you know, who, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm really bad with jump scares.
A whole lot of nerve to come inside and ask me where I'm going. I come and go as I please. I don't answer my father. I ain't going to answer no man either. Ain't no man going to tell me where I can go. I come and go. You got a whole lot of motherfucking nerve. Who the hell do you think you are anyway? Or come and ask me where I'm going? Nobody owns me. I own myself. I'm my own person.
You think somebody, I mean, you know, I took like one class for stand-up. And the one thing that the instructor said about controversial jokes is you don't necessarily have to stay away from controversy, but if you're going to be controversial in your comedy, the joke better land. That's like that. Like if it's actually funny, then hell yeah. You know what I mean? But if it's not funny, then yeah, you kind of put yourself in there. I'm just kind of wondering, maybe nowadays a joke like this can come back, but you know, going through the period, I guess, like a joke, you know, jokes like this, I feel like would have got somebody canceled. But maybe nowadays it's different, you know? Yeah, Europa was supposed to be the next Earth. Problem is that Jupiter really is too small to become a sun. Okay. Yeah, see, I was trying to remember why they wouldn't let them go to Europa. Man, that's such a cool movie. That was like a different time, you know? It's like there was all the space exploration and, you know, we went to the moon and like all the future of humanity. It's like when you go to the Epcot Center in Disney World and you go on that little ride and it shows you like the advancement of humanity and they got like that 1950s voice and you're just like, man, this is actually really cool, you know, and it makes you really hopeful. I think Elon's trying to bring a little bit of that back. I can't remember if he's still going to Mars or if they stopped that, but you know, it's a nice thing to think about. There was a lot of hope there. I'm the funniest person I know. I wish I was funny, man. I don't know. I feel like I can be funny, but some people I feel like are just really good at being funny. Yeah, Europa was supposed to... Okay, my bad. Read that already. Thanks again for all that generosity, Raymond. More than I deserve. Okay.
And we hear all that shit.
Okay. Well, where you gonna be?
I'ma be where I'm at. You don't own me. You don't. Africa gotta be fucked up and one of them.
All right, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Oh yeah, Elon wants to go to Mars and beyond. Okay, I couldn't remember if he put the kibosh on that in favor of the other side of the moon for now or something, but sounds like he's still going to Mars. Glad that's interesting. You know, hopefully we get some of that. This skit is more relevant in 2023 than it was back then. That's 40 years on. Yeah, see, exactly. He can literally tell this joke again today and it will hit the same. This joke works whatever year or century you live in. Well, especially nowadays. Say that. What's amazing is he's only 25 here and he's got it all figured out. Half, and they'll get it too. Be careful, fellas. Man. 25-year-old Eddie Murphy. This skit saved me so much money and heartache. This guy went MGTOW after this take. He became a free agent after he listened to that one. I love Eddie. He's so damn right on every point. Reason why Will Smith's scared to divorce Jada Pinkett. Oh, yeah. Holy crap. Eddie was red-pilled before it was even a thing. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's kind of interesting because it almost kind of shows you where maybe some of the influencers got their influences from. Like some of this stuff was floating out there in a way. Gosh, that reminds me of the episode of Simpsons where Homer gets Me Too'd. Oh my gosh. I wish I could watch that on stream with you guys. Moon is just the pit stop. U.S. absolutely needs the moon. Whoever owns the moon owns the earth because of the ease with which they could toss rocks at Earth. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Gosh, I'm sorry, but my love of sci-fi and aliens is just flipping through my mind right now. Like, what if they go to the dark side of the moon and they find alien bases are already there? You know what I mean? And 2010 wasn't just a sci-fi, but whoever made that actually really knew what was going on. Hey, isn't Steven Spielberg supposed to release a movie called Disclosure coming out in June of this year? And somehow, you know, maybe Steven Spielberg's got some inside info. So we should all get our ticket money ready and go run to the theaters as soon as it comes out. I got to get something to eat. I might be gone. If the stream ends, could you play the country song I made for Paul on stream? Real quick. If you could just private message me the song, that would be fantastic. Just so I know exactly which one it is. I know you put it in there. I got to get into AI content and just reread the stuff. But if you could just send me the link directly, then I will try my best to remember to play it. Absolutely. We could play the song that we made for Paul. Paul had an idea when I was down in SoCal. And basically, I was showing him the other AI songs you guys made. And Paul was like, can they make a song called How Much Do I Have to Shit on You to Get You to Love Me? In a country song. So we made, and by we, I mean Dan the Man did everything. Dan the Man made several versions of this song, and we're trying to get the best one so that we can choose one to send to Paul because, that was his request after all. So yes, no sci-fi, no gravity on moon and high gravity on Earth turns a boulder into a weapon that outmatches nukes. That doesn't sound very good for the Earth in general right there, Orem. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm a fan of this idea. That dumb guy smile he does so perfect. That was pretty funny. I went and saw this in theater when it came out with my long-term girlfriend. Funny as could be, but he sure made me think about the future. Still in 2022. Half. I'll take half his. Yeah, there you go. Melinda Gates, the GOAT. Very good. Very good. All right, so that was pretty funny. So, guys, we're going to take a chance on this. I don't know if it's good, but we're going to watch it. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go and get into that. All right.
Optimism.
Better us than China. You know what? This right here kind of encapsulates like all of human civilizational history right there. Shout out to you, Orem, on that. This has given us a reminder of the nature of humanity right here. So I hear you. Hey, Michael saying we played your clip on stream. And I made it into a sound effect for the board. I'm sorry, I'm going to play it one more time now that Michael Sayin is here. If you ask for a prenup, but she doesn't want to sign a contract, can't you just say marriage is a contract? I would, yeah. Well, because what's gonna happen is she's gonna walk herself into. She's gonna be like, I'm looking for a traditional marriage, and I'm gonna be like, oh, traditional. Oh, let's talk traditional. Yeah, and that's where you get into the contract. I love tradition. It's like I'm the only one, and you guys, of course, and all the gold pillars. We're the only ones who seem to love tradition over here. It's like everybody talks about tradition. Nobody's bothered to dig into it. So, yes, traditional indeed. She doesn't just want to sign a contract that takes her money. Exactly. All right, moving in. Shout out to Michael Sayin for providing us this amazing clip.
Herbert. We live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
But I don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful, she's rich, she's got huge tracts of land. Herbert.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And it's also now a clip. Thank you to Michael Sayin.
Herbert, we live on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
But I don't like her.
I don't like her.
Don't like her? What's wrong with her? She's beautiful.
What's
she's
wrong with her?
Rich, she's got huge tracts of land.
All right, guys, let's move into the You didn't send me that clip? Who? Oh crap! Who sent me the clip? Oh man, I do this entire stream. I've been like, thank you to Paul Elam. Oh my god, I'm losing my damn mind over here. I'm sorry, guys. Michael saying, who sent me that clip? Damn, why didn't anybody correct me? Hold on. Oh, it was Luke Nielsen. Damn, man. Luke's not here tonight. Shout out to Luke. It was Luke. Okay, it was Luke Nielsen. I'm gonna have to. If Luke watches this on the replay, I mean, unless he makes it to an hour and 43 minutes into the show, he's you know what? I'm just gonna reply to this in the Discord right now. I'm gonna get ahead of this apology. Hey, Luke. I played this on stream. and made it a sound effect. Unfortunately, I mistakenly... Here, you guys can watch me give my heartfelt apology here. Unfortunately, I mistakenly attributed this clip to Michael saying. I shouted him out probably 20 times, probably like 10 times, until about an hour and 43 minutes when he pointed out he didn't share it with me. If you watch the stream on the replay, I just want to apologize for that misattribution. But please know, we did get to the truth eventually. But does it matter if you get to the truth when it's too late and the damage is already done? I might be able to put that in as a sentence also, but I might just be belaboring the point here, so I'm just going to hit enter there. Thank you for that, for pointing that out. Honestly, that was very important, Luke. So anyways, all right, enough lollygagging. Let's go ahead and watch this. This is called the uncomfortable question you should ask on every first date. Well, I mean, we got plenty of uncomfortable questions.
Which one of these broads has the richest father?
Yeah, and then we also have uncomfortable statements.
No dowry. It's my right.
And this is important.
What's the dowry situation?
Exactly.
Let's get down to brass tacks
So
here.
yes, these are the first date questions you should be
I
asking.
have no dowry.
You might hear this.
If anything, I have a negative dowry.
And then when they're confused, you got to tell them this.
There was a dowry or a bride price.
And, you know, if none of it goes well, then...
You gotta stay gaming, bruh. Don't focus on no girl. Just stay gaming.
So, okay. Moving in. You said it so emphatically that I started to think I did. Gosh, we can be very convincing. Luke is a better version of me. We all, Marines, we all look the same after a while. Well, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Marines, man. Dear Diary, my teen angst it has. Thank you for that, Raymond. Okay, so let's see what his version of the uncomfortable question is on the first date.
Is the enemy of love. If that we will have optimism is the enemy of love. If we think that we will have a perfect love story.
Oh crap, I forgot the grid. Okay. 8 million subscribers on this channel. You know how they get. All right, moving in.
No, it's not going to happen. We need to accept that even a really good relationship has constant moments of crisis. So pessimism is not an enemy of love. Knowing that there is no such thing as the right person actually helps you to find a good enough person. You know, compatibility is not a precondition of love. Compatibility is the fruit of love. My name is...
Okay. Maybe like a companionate love, like Peter Wright was describing?
Alain de Botton. I'm a philosopher, psychotherapist, and founder of the School of Life.
The playbook for a successful relationship.
First of all, the idea of a playbook sounds strange. The idea of a playbook that you need to create to get in a relationship sounds really odd. You think, I don't need a playbook. I just need to head on in there, get a dating app, and off I go, and a nice new pair of clothes. But isn't it interesting, and wouldn't it be lovely to...
It's interesting that he wears all black. I wonder if he always wears all black. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, I did that for a bit. Oh, this guy. Yeah. We watched a video of his, Raymond, earlier in the stream, and it was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty... He wrote Status Anxiety. Oh, that's cool. You're familiar with him? I've not read anything from him.
Have a playbook that would be trying to guide
book?
you to acquire the knowledge that you need for love. So the idea that love is a skill rather than an emotion is a strange one, but I think an absolutely essential...
Love is a skill rather than an emotion? That's interesting. Okay, you know, because in the first one, he's kind of trying to redefine romantic love. But, you know, if we just move away from this idea of romance and we talk about these other forms of love as a skill, huh? Now, Red Pillars might argue they have different skills, but let's see what skills he's talking about. He's a bald goth. You know, I'll be honest with you, man. I there is a part of me that always found the goth look, you know, something appealing about that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any goth sound effects, though. Totally sounds like a simp. I agree, Ray. Okay, let's move in.
One in the worldview that I'm positing. You know, if somebody said, I'm going to climb Mount Everest or K2, you would say, okay, how have you prepared for this? And you'd be expecting them to...
Gosh, okay, I do like that. I really like that. How have you... Because, you know, that's kind of a thing that I harp on. Okay, you're 28, you want to get married. How much have you saved for your marriage?
Your dowry, it's my right.
If the answer is this...
I have no dowry.
Then, yeah, marriage is just... That's not even your lane right now, honey. There's another one, and it leads to the building behind the tavern. It starts with B, okay?
Show up with ropes, with training programs, with oxygen.
I am the bald god. Yo! Oh my gosh. Raymond, that's your next... That's where you got to go next on the content, man. You got to go into your goth phase. Man, if Raymond becomes goth, I feel like his... What do you call that? Like the type of... I know you have a certain type of woman... The manic pixie dream girl or something. The manic pixie girl is just gonna, like, she might even just appear somehow, you know, like as soon as you start hitting the goth, all the goth stuff, just go for it, man. And that's gonna be the new thing. And I feel like goth culture makes being bald look cool in some ways. You know, I don't know. Like I could see a kind of goth sort of future punk look a little bit. Maybe I'm going too hard on this, but yes, you are the bald. I am the bald goth. Like I could see this statement. I am the bald goth. That could be the name of a song right there. That could be the name of a YouTube video. That could be the name of an album. There's something with this. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like we're circling a good idea. A simp always asks the men, what have you done to prepare? Well, okay, but he hasn't, I don't know if he was asking just the men, right? Because I think he's talking about men and women. At least I'm assuming that, but never asked the women. Total simp slip up. Let's see though, we got another 20 minutes on this. Goth girls only kill you occasionally. Well, I mean, but we watched that Dr. Grande video last week where it was like the trad wife that basically did it. So, you know, I mean, it's almost the toss-up. I'm already goth. Yeah, I would say so in spirit. I guess I'm imagining the stereotypical, you know, like the black boots and the, you know, the black clothing and maybe some metal here or there somewhere. And just a little bit of the eye, you know, black going on there.
With specially prepared packs of food, you can get the metaphor. We walk into the mountain of love without sufficient preparation and equipment, and then we're surprised.
Well, they expect the man to be at the top of the mountain, and then somehow the woman's just going to get elevated up there and, you know, just be there.
We routinely tumble off the mountain, and we blame the other person. We say we didn't match the right person. We haven't found our person. We go,
I'm looking for something real.
Back on the dating app, and we go ever further to try and find the right person. Don't get me wrong, dating apps have their role. Sometimes we need to scan and see who's out there and find a, you know, person who halfway meets us where we want to be. But once you've found a more or less, you know, suitable person,
I wish I could talk to him about the dowry. I'm sure he's seen it in all of his histories. He just hasn't mentioned it. All his stuff about love, though, is pretty good. It was like 95% good on the other video. I would be very curious to hear his opinion on the dowry and how the role of that, what that means for today. That would be a fun discussion.
When the work begins. And the work is to turn a stranger into somebody that you can understand and who can understand you without bottling it, without panicking, without throwing them in the bin, without saying, we can't work this out if after 5 weeks and a pleasant mini break in Copenhagen, we suddenly have a conflict. No, the point is you need to stay where you are and try and figure it out. But most people...
I've been to Copenhagen once.
Give up too soon. They say, we can't possibly do this. And they run for the hills, go back on the...
I'll tell you this. He's kind of seeming to focus more on communication. I haven't heard anything about a mutual material contribution. at the outset of a relationship, but okay, well, that's okay. Let's see where he's going. I was the stereotypical goth in high school. Now I'm the stereotypical dad bod guy. Well, can I ask you this, Orem? Is there still a little bit of that goth in you? You know, sometimes, like, do you ever wake up some days and you just feel the goth come out of you a little bit? Like, you know, feeling kind of goth today. All of this is predicated on women seeing me as a human being instead of a not person. Yeah, well, I know, Raymond, you know, I know your question to me is, well, if I can't get a woman to look at me, what does all this stuff even mean anyways? You know, that is the Raymond challenge right there. Raymond, by the way, I'm posting hopefully by tomorrow, I'm going to make public my panel discussion with John from It's Complicated, Paul Elam, and Matt Cross, who's a pickup artist. And there may be a moment in there where I did mention Raymond Thoughts in Mind. Somewhere in that hour and 43-minute discussion. Just putting that out there. Possibly. Dating apps intentionally match you with people who you won't last with. Well, I mean, dating apps like are the kind of epitome of like the community-less way of connecting. It's like the ultimate way of connecting without friends or family involved or coworkers or nothing like that. So it's like people can find each other, but then they can easily ditch each other because they're like, well, I don't even run into this person in my own circle. So that's why like I think ghosting is such a big thing. Not that I came up with this idea. I'm sure plenty of people already discussed this. So, you know, it's not even just about matching you won't last with. It's about people like literally trying to like be their most individual away from their families and communities and then meet up with each other. And to use Paul Elam's metaphor, it's like two ships passing in the night most of the time, you know? You give them your profile and your desires, then they intentionally either go for the opposite or ignore them. Who is he talking to? Maybe the music I write. Okay. Sit men about taking responsibility. Talk about and getting your career down because unless he says woman, people just assume he is talking to men. Yeah, and I could totally see that perspective, Michael. Love you, Shaw. Love you too, brother. We gotta do some more fun stuff, man. One of these days. I was a nerd in high school. Not stereotypical though. Did work out back then. Still a nerd today. You know, the truth is I was a nerd too, but I tried my best not to be. But looking back, I wish I could have just leaned more into the nerd aspect. And I think, you know, maybe this...
You gotta stay gaming, bro.
This is like my attempt to try to get back into the nerd thing, you know, some ways. Shout out to the nerds out there. And I mean like the real nerds. Not the people who came into the nerd space and hijacked it. You know what I mean? Like, to like make it cool so they could get donations on Twitch or something. Back then, if you were a nerd, it was not cool, you know? Then it became profitable to be a nerd. Anyway, shout out to the real nerds out there. All right, moving in.
The dating app and find the next person with whom they will then try
still
out
a nerd
an
shot. Thank
equally
you. I got my
unfulfilling
nerd card.
attempt to match their heart with a stranger's. What we need to do is to start to create right people rather than search for them. And what does that mean to create a right person? It means to work on yourself psychologically and therapeutically so that you
you know, that part, right? I mean, yeah, I get it, you know, a little bit, but it also sounds a little too close to the, you know, it just sounded a little too close to the standard mental health applications of today that are very, you can even say, kind of woman-centered, not very men-centered. So, you know, work on yourself and this and that in the process of self-discovery. And then you two should, once you figure that out, then you're going to find this and that. I mean, I guess a little bit, but I'm just saying my eyebrows are raising here a little bit.
Understand your script from
You're a
childhood
legend for that,
and do
Klaus,
not
honestly.
simply play it out onto innocent person after innocent person.
That's what I'm hearing too, Raymond. Just be a better man. But he hasn't made it gendered so far, but it's so. I mean, Michael saying made a good point up there. You ain't a nerd unless you play Dungeons and Dragons in the 90s. Yeah, that's some OG nerd level stuff. I did play a game of Magic in Canada, which is pretty cool.
That you take responsibility for the problems that you are bringing into a relationship. At the School of Life, which I founded...
I'll tell you what problem she's bringing into a relationship.
I have no dowry.
Yeah, that's a big problem right there. So that's the problem that she needs to work on.
An institution that is dedicated to emotional growth and development. We tell our people that when they're on a date with somebody, among the first questions is to ask people playfully, how are you crazy? What does that mean, how are you crazy? Why is everybody crazy? They're not necessarily crazy. Well, all of us have stuff that we need to be on top of. And if your person at dinner says to you, yeah, I get the question. Yeah, I've got my crazy. And my crazy is this, my crazy is that, my father, my mother. This is turning out to be a safe person. If the person goes, how do you mean? I can't possibly answer that question. That's rude. You think I'm not right or imperfect. Run for the hills.
I don't know. This is sounding a little diluted. It's not sounding very substantive. But okay, we're running with it. We got another 19 minutes.
Drop it right there and then. I'm exaggerating, but this is probably not a person you should be hanging out with, because none of us need or can have perfect partners. But what we can have and must search for and must try to become is
partners that are doing decent financially.
People who know enough about their patterns to be able to warn
this is different.
Their prospective partners of what's going on and take averting action. The beginning of therapeutic relationships is to know that two people...
Yeah, see, I mean, yeah, he's, maybe I'm biased, I just feel like he's kind of neglecting a very big portion of this equation. So let's see if he gets there.
People, when entering a couple, are not entering without a lot of history. It is essential that couples learn as...
Yeah, you know what? Raymond asks, like Michael's saying, Raymond asks a very pertinent question. Why can't he say what... Yeah, he hasn't. He hasn't. And that's actually missing from the first video, because he was talking about romanticism and how it's not good. But if he dug into what romanticism is, it's like, how do you say romanticism isn't good, but then don't dig into the culturally expected roles for men and women when it comes to romance? But okay, all right, fine. Okay, maybe he didn't need... I still like the first video. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay, I get it. Men are doing enough. Yeah, so, yeah, right, Raymond, absolutely.
Much as possible about that history so that they are ready for the challenges and perplexities of love. A therapeutic relationship requires that each partner get on top of their dynamics that date back to childhood and are able to...
Okay, we're going back to childhood trauma.
Discuss them with relative grace, patience, and insight with their partner, so that when problems arise, and they will, they can adopt a therapeutic language.
So, I mean, maybe this is in some ways just a giant advertisement for his School of Life, and they're offering a kind of, repackaged form of couples therapy or something. I don't know. I mean, those are all allegations. Allegations, no definitive evidence yet, but let's keep going.
It is therapeutic to say, for example, when there is a conflict, I hear your point of view. It may not be mine.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. I got to share with you guys an Instagram clip that I found that I thought was pretty hilarious. Let me just, I got to pull it up from a couple places here. So hopefully you can't see what I'm doing on the screen, because I don't want you guys to see into my Instagram messages. There's all kinds of things in there that I shouldn't even be that would be just horrible if it came out like that. Okay, let me just go ahead and save that into my reaction folder. And now I can exit my DMs here. You know what they say about the DMs. I mean, I would absolutely just... If the DMs were there, oh my gosh, that would not be good. Okay. Sorry, it's just... I saw this hilarious clip about... Basically, the reel is titled, "When You Hang Out with One of Those Strange Families That Don't Fight 24/7. I just thought it was so funny. Like, I couldn't help but laugh at this. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me take my grid off. Hopefully I don't forget to put it back on. Stop DMing e-girls, Shaw. Yeah. I will neither confirm nor deny those allegations. Thank you so much for that donation again, Raymond. Appreciate that. Okay, so when you hang out with one of those strange families that don't fight 24/7, I don't know why, I just thought this was so funny. This was so funny to me. Damn, play. I command you, play. What happened? Why isn't this working? Oh, that sucks.
So yeah, I'm just living here with my family for the time being until I can save up for a down payment.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it sounds like a smart plan.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey guys, is this a good time?
Hey Dad.
Hey, Mr. Morris, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hey son, did you end up cleaning out the attic?
Yeah, I did, Dad, but I actually want to talk to you about something.
Okay, about what?
Well, it's about earlier. You know when you came in here and asked me to clean out the attic?
Yeah.
Well, when you asked me, you seemed to expect an answer right away, even though it was very obvious that was right in the middle of a very important work call.
Okay, so what's the issue?
Well, honestly, I found that to be inconsiderate.
Inconsiderate? You're saying that was inconsiderate?
Yes, I believe in that instance you were.
You know, I should probably get going.
No, stay.
No, I think I really should
No,
get going.
Just stay here. Relax. Stay here.
Okay, let me get something straight. I ask you to do a chore in lieu of rent, and you tell me I'm inconsiderate. Well, let me tell you something. I completely understand your perspective, son. I understand it wasn't about completing the chore, but rather the timing of when I asked you to do it. Going forward, I'll be more mindful not to ask you for things when you're in the middle of a meeting. I hope you accept my apology.
Oh, no need to apologize, Dad. I just really appreciate your understanding. And I want you to know that I really do love doing chores around the house. It's actually the least I can do for you and Mom, considering how gracious you two have been.
I don't know why I like this so much.
Well, thank you, son, even though you don't owe us anything. After all, your mother and I were the ones who suggested you live here. And that would be very unfair if we held that against you.
So yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, we had to watch that because kind of what he's mentioning in terms of like what he suggests. Why did my Discord pop up? Like about
that it's therapeutic language. It is therapeutic to say, for example, when there is a conflict, I hear your point of view. It may not be mine, but I hear that it's yours.
I don't know. It just reminded me of that. I thought that was great. I'm glad you said something instead of holding it in. Witnessing what could have been is more traumatizing than listening to yelling. My in-laws are like this. Literally the best parents ever. They say they just want to be a bonus to her life. Hey, is anybody in the chat? Are you guys like this too? And if you guys are, please invite me to your next Thanksgiving. I would love to join that. Sounds like a good time. They say they just want to be a bonus to her family, and now mine. They still have boundaries, but they communicate them clearly. Fighting families build character. Who cares if you end up with problems later in life? At least you'll have a decent sense of humor and rage. Rasputin forever. That's a funny username. When I visited my partner's family home for the first time, it was so full of love, I had to excuse myself. I never experienced that before, and it was overwhelming. I don't know if this bodes well for the future, but maybe she's done the work. So her entering into a family like this hopefully won't be, shout out to them. Whatever. Hopefully it works out. My family had a rule that as long as I had at least a small job, and a larger goal that I could prove I was working towards, they'd keep a roof over my head. I feel like this is a relatively fair rule to have, to be honest, especially for an 18 to 20-year-old at the time. Oh yeah, it's not a horrible one. This activated my fight or flight instinct. Okay, that was pretty funny. All right, so that's enough. Maybe we'll look at one more brain rot before the show's over. Okay, let me just catch up with chat real quick, and then we'll get back to Mr. Alain de Botton. Where are we at here? Hell no, this knowledge will get used and abused later on. Not going to go there. Never, ever. Yeah, men are pretty much the same. Even the science says so. It's women who've caught the mimetic virus from social media. This guy is just a get healed before you get into a relationship kind of guy. Yeah, it's not looking good right now, Michael. I'll say that. Stop DMing E-Girl Shaw. Why do I get the impression he is going to sell a course at the end? Yeah, that I'm kind of getting that too. It's going to be a school of life thing, and they're going to have these discussions, and they got methods for it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. These are all guesses. Do you know how I don't fight my family? I don't interact with those that hate me. I mean, yeah. At a certain point, I get it. I get it. It's tough. It's tough though. It's tough. I hear you, Raymond. My father and daughter are both raving lefties. I haven't talked to either in at least a year. Oh, that's unfortunate. Just it sucks that it's got to come to that, Not really my choice. They removed themselves from my life. Yeah, what can you do at that point? I guess just maybe if they come back, What's amazing about being an adult is you can just not hang out with family that doesn't like you. That's true. And that's another reason to work on goals, have a good, a decent career, have your own spot, try to work up to that. Now, I don't know, it's tough. Other part of me is like, I don't think you could truly escape your family, but I get it. Like if it's a pretty bad dynamic, that's what you got to do sometimes, I think homeschooled families would talk like this. You know what? I think you're right about that. Michael. And I hate to admit it, I kind of like that a bit. Like I appreciate that to some extent. I get that it can't always be like that, but I do appreciate that, All right. Listen, guys, if this sucks, then we'll just call it after a bit. I mean, we're over 2 hours.
It is not therapeutic to say, you're wrong, you're an idiot, and you're just like your mother. Or indeed like your father. This is not therapeutic. I'm kidding, but I'm making a very serious point indeed. We do not tend to talk to each other in therapeutically informed language. We shout, we scream, we blame, we shapeshift, we don't take responsibility. We do all sorts of things that doom us.
It's funny because in some ways, like when I think of the red pill, I feel like the advice he's giving is like directly opposite. Like he's advocating for these like overt communications. And the red pill, I've always seen it as more of these kind of covert. It's understanding the covert contracts or communications and understanding how to navigate those. But I know I shouldn't even be complaining. Man, you did. Streaming for 7 hours. I mean, obviously we have fun doing it. I hope you're having fun too, Raymond. I'm sure you do to some extent. But it's crazy when you think about it. Like, when you work an 8-hour shift, like let's say at an office job, I know you've had one before. I have one. And it's like, oh man, 8 hours and with lunch, 9 hours, and you're in the desk and you're like, that's a long time. But then when you're streaming, like if you're actually having fun, you can like, I used to really do 5-hour streams on here for a while. And you'll be having so much fun, you might get dehydrated without realizing it, But it's crazy. Like, man, I've been sitting in my chair for 5 hours, but when I'm at my regular job, it's like, oh, dang, man, it's almost 10. I might get up and stretch my legs here for a bit. I've been sitting for 2 hours, like it's the biggest deal. I think homeschool families would talk like this. Oh, yep. Crazy thing about the dowry is there are studies that prove arranged marriages with dowries last like 4 times longer than those who marry for love. Well, shout out to that, man. We need those studies. Absolutely. And then, of course, the gaslighting is going to be like, well, they're not free, or, they're going to try to hit it with some type of violence angle or some type of oppression angle. Like, they're going to do their best, but we're not going to let that happen. We're going to take it to them. We're pushing back on it, We're tired of it. At least, I am. I'm definitely tired of that. And I'm going to try to communicate that to them in a way that really asserts my boundaries, but also respects theirs, but does communicate what I believe in my perspective. I'll try to understand their perspective, kind of like in that IG video, but ultimately I will keep pushing in order to get a kind of resolution there steadfastly. So thank you for that, Michael. It'd be cool to find some of those studies and just, have them in my notes. I will never not be grateful. That's a positive mindset. I like that. I like that a lot. Being grateful is definitely important. Definitely. And I feel like I'm just saying an obvious thing there, but All right. If this gets more into the salesman's ad, we might just abandon this.
In relationships. And then we stand back and we say we're surprised.
Listen, if this sucks after about 3 minutes, we're going to watch another Dr. Grande video, and that's how we're going to close things out. And I'm going to pull up the Dr. Grande video, and it's about a casual sexual partner plans calculated revenge for prolonged and harsh rejection. And it's just yet another example of the failed, romance. So, but what? Let's move in.
We are a society that is obsessed with finding the right person without pausing to think, how do I become the right person? How do I work on myself? Understanding that cannot be done simply, and this is paradoxical, by being on your own. This is another.
I do want to react to one of your videos. What was that? Was that on your live stream though? Because I saw you watching somebody. I think you were watching Shelby. That wasn't one of your standalone videos, I don't think. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what it is. I'll admit, on some guttural level, I like watching you react to some of those. I know there's a few ladies that you follow or that you've had some interactions with, and whenever they post, I know sometimes you bring up their videos. I find it entertaining when you do that. I don't even know why. I think it would be good to watch the sales pitch to learn about okay, let's do that. Okay, yeah, so we'll save Dr. Grande then for another time. All right, let's see the sales pitch. You're right, it's educational.
Unbelievable mystery. You can't understand yourself just by being with yourself. You need other people. Why is that? It's like, why do you need a mirror to see the back of your head? Because we don't have eyes there. We need someone to help us to see the things that are really hard for us to see. And psychotherapy gives us a forum in which we can come, tell the therapist about what's going on in our lives, explain what happened last Monday, explain, what happened when we took that trip to New York or Buffalo.
Man, do you think it was the family that used to point out stuff to you that you couldn't see, but they could see? It's almost like with psychotherapy and all this, okay, I get it, it's a science or whatever, but it's kind of admitting that families have broken down so much that they're not the ones that help us see these things. It's you need these things like psychotherapy or whatever he's talking about, because everyone is so disconnected. It's hard to get these things pointed out to you. It was the life. Okay, from yesterday. Okay, yeah. I've watched. I've seen definitely a few of those. We'll do another live stream, man. Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely need to do something. It would be great too. It's always. I enjoy it. So I don't do therapy. I just stream and get yelled at in the comments. Yeah. That's like YouTube therapy. I don't know if you can call it that, but. No shot was the church. Confessional became therapy. Okay, that's a good point too right there. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, people would go there, for guidance. There's the whole confession and all that stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that, Raymond. It's interesting.
Hello, wherever it is, what happened? And then slowly pattern recognition sets in. The therapist is able to go, it's funny, in that last relationship you did this new relationship you're doing that. And you mentioned that your parent did something that sounds kind of similar. So I wonder what's going on. And then slowly insight comes. We start to put the pieces together. We think, I'm up to something. I'm doing something. And that way is liberation. We can start to break the unconscious stories that we're living. Psychotherapy works with this concept.
In some ways, I think it could be worthwhile to focus on some of those and see if you notice anything.
Concept known as defenses or defense mechanisms. In other words, these are tools that our minds adopt to try and shield themselves from accurate knowledge of their own workings. And this could sound really odd, why don't we just embrace self-knowledge with open arms? Why do we need to run away from it? The answer is that knowledge of ourselves is frightening. It's really awful to have to learn certain things. It may make us very anxious. It may make us so sorrowful. It may panic us. And so we push away unwelcome information.
Well, it's confronting, things we don't want to confront, but it's good to do that.
I think that we still perhaps can't quite bear how complicated we are. We're very squeamish creatures. We don't like to sit with ourselves. We don't like to sit with our emotions. Self-knowledge remains an enormously elusive goal. I think it is the most important goal of life. To understand oneself is literally the meaning of life.
He's going on all the way to the meaning of life. Now, I know his school is called the School of Life, but okay.
Greeks knew this,
know thyself, okay. I can't remember. Was that written on the top of Plato's Academy there? I'll have to double check that.
Thyself was the most important command in ancient Greek culture and philosophy. Know thyself.
Oh, no, I think he wrote something like, if you're ignorant of geometry or something, it ain't gonna work.
Most important thing you could do. If you said nowadays, in a conversation with friends or colleagues, what's your goal? Where are you trying to get to next year? What are you trying to do? I say,
I guess it really depends who's asking me that question. If it's someone I feel like I don't have a decent relationship with or don't respect, I might not want to have that discussion with that person. It's like my goals and my this. It's just like, unless like I respect you or something, then I would. But sometimes I feel like if people ask me that, I'm a little like reticent. Unless goals, where I want to be in 5 years. Telling you that? Okay.
Know thyself. People would go, that's a strange person there.
I'd love to see this guy's wife. Well, that's fair. It's fair. I'm kind of fascinated by this guy. He's obviously very intelligent, but my gut feeling tells me he is disingenuous. I don't want to I respect a lot of things about him, especially in that first video, but yes, there's a little bit of something in there. Maybe it hasn't been sussed out yet. But yeah, I mean, I get it, Raymond. Love to see his wife or whatever. I mean, maybe he's in a decent marriage, but I don't know. I hear what you're saying, though, Klaus. I certainly hear. Know thyself was from The Matrix. Man, I got to double check and see if I got The Matrix on DVD. That's one I definitely want. Know thyself.
We don't know about this person, right? It's not an acceptable goal. We know that it's good to make money. We know that it's good to travel to foreign countries, to learn how to fry garlic and to learn salsa. It's not particularly esteemed to know yourself. And that's why we wander around strangers to ourselves and therefore enormously confusing and, let's put it frankly, dangerous to other people. Because a person who doesn't understand themselves, if confronted with their behavior, will go, it wasn't me, I didn't do it, or I can't think, or, ask me tomorrow. They can't account for themselves. They don't know why they do the stuff they do.
I think there's something to be said there, but I feel like that can also be abused for people not wanting to take accountability. Like they know they're following their own selfish desires or whatever, but I guess it's giving them a little out, but I can kind of see what he's saying. Why no VHS? You know what? I have a VHS player sitting. I do got to get a remote for it. I tried to get this dual VHS DVD player. It was a Toshiba. It was $60. And I really tried my best to get it from this guy, but he was probably like 25 miles away. And somebody else got it before me. It sucked, and I really wanted it, and it had a remote and everything. And it was a Toshiba, and it was going to match my Toshiba, which is right behind me here. But I was unsuccessful. And then I found this other guy on Facebook Marketplace that was selling a bunch of VHSs for like $1 a piece, and I never followed up and went to go get any of them because I've kind of just gone all in on DVDs at this point because like it's, if I happen upon a VHS player that I could rely, I would probably get it. It'd be nice to have a cassette tape deck and a VHS player for sure. I don't have many VHSs of my own anymore, but if I buy it, then I can see myself kind of falling into that. That is going to take a lot of space though, but it just depends, Oh crap! Thank you for reminding me, Oikophobic. I completely forgot to put that filter back on. I didn't get any warnings or anything, so we're good. But yes, that is very important. Thank you. VHS is crap for the same reason that cassettes are crap. I mean, if it's like super cheap, yeah, I get it. They're not going to last. Well, not as long as the other ones, but the cassettes, man. The cassettes are cool. The cassettes are cool. Look at this. It says all the names of the tracks on either side of it. There's a side A and a side B. And listening to side B means I can just flip it back to side A and it's ready to get listened to again. They always wear out. Stick to DVDs or video discs or CDs. Copy that for the longevity.
They will simply, in a relationship, for example, bail out of a relationship going, it's getting too intense. And why? They don't know. They don't understand what they themselves are doing. Even though, they may have spent 5 years learning, Spanish, they may have taken an advanced degree in Japanese, they may be, very active in all sorts of ways, they may have learnt pottery, they may be holding down a great job in marketing, something. But the point is, they will not have learned the really true constituents of emotional functioning.
I mean, like, I for sure remember cassettes as a kid, my parents used them, but, and I remember way back then and everything. But like, I would say CDs came, when did CDs start coming out? I was probably in I remember Eminem's album. I think I was in 4th grade. That was on CD. Damn, what year was that? I must have been, what was that, 2000? Was that 99 or 2000? When the hell did Eminem's first major? The one with Real Slim Shady on it. That one. CDs were starting to get there was like that was like the transition around there. Gosh, that takes me back. Man, the other thing I was trying to get was a Linkin Park Hybrid Theory on cassette tape, which I also could not find, but I am looking for a CD. Like, I don't need to get this, but like, it does hold its value. You know what I mean? Like, this will probably only be worth more. Will the real Slim Shot please stand up? Man, I'm going to go back and listen to that album. I was just listening recently to the Linkin Park album. It's so good. It's so freaking amazing. Anything with magnetic tape will wear out with use. Even records don't have that as a guaranteed problem. I know, but there's just something so cool about the cassettes, though, Yeah, I hear you. The way that the sound wave is put on there magnetically, it will cause an issue eventually. He's hanging out in the Burger King, dipping in your onion rings. Thought he was spitting in the onion rings. Oh my gosh.
Because they've been able to get away with it. And part of the playbook of becoming a better lover is to dial down your defense mechanisms, to observe them. Typical defense mechanism is to push responsibility onto other people, to say it's your fault. For example, someone tries to tell you something about yourself. Someone says, I think that you're a little bit this when that happens.
I don't know why. Like, we're going to make it to the end, Klaus. Hopefully. Hey, welcome back. Oh, man. I'll definitely get that Linkin Park album now, especially with all the donations you've done tonight is more than probably what that album is. I mean, let me just pull up eBay here real quick just to see. We're just looking, guys. We're not buying anything. We're just looking. This is how it starts. Hybrid Theory CD. Okay, well, I mean, that's not bad. Brand new, $14.95. I'm going to save that for later. It's probably not real. It's probably a counterfeit, but I will double check that. Damn. There's another one. It might actually be, that's not that bad. This might actually be real. Okay, yeah, I might even just pick one of these up for the heck of it. Thank you for that, Raymond, man. I appreciate it a lot. You're showing a lot, that's a lot of money, sum total, you've been donating to me, man. I appreciate it. More than I deserve. I'll have to not put that in the dowry chest, and we're going to get Linkin Park Hybrid Theory on CD. Guess who's back? Sounds like Orem was a fan of Eminem back then. I have too early CD that got bad too. The reflecting layer kind of dissolved. I know I think there's different CD quality types, just like there are for DVDs. And there's like a huge market of cheap DVDs that people will release media on, but they're like a lot of anime DVD sets are actually like counterfeit and they're made on like cheap DVD quality. But when you look at the actual like, the not counterfeit sets, the DVD qualities are a lot better. So it's probably the same with CDs. I'm always a little bit this when that happens, but when that other thing, I'm more that. Dude, I have one. I'll mail it to you. Oh no, I couldn't deprive you of that, man. That you gotta hold on to that, bro. That's a freaking antique at this point, man. You gotta keep that. You gotta keep that. 2 CD. Do I have to drive out to if you drive out to California, man? I'll figure it out. I'll figure out for a place for you to, you know, we'll figure out the trip, you know, or I'll fly out there, one of the two, or hell, I mean, we could meet in some random place, but we're gonna figure something out. CDs can be carefully cared for. Direct contact isn't necessary for CDs. Not to say that you can't screw them up. I've heard of disc rot before, like for video games, I think. But, you know, it might really depend what kind of environment you live in, too. Like, I think most places will be okay.
And rather than going, thank you, let me think about that, you go, why are you being rude? Or this is not a good time for me. Or I can't absorb this now. In other words, you push away information that might have helped you, not because it's false, but because it's difficult to absorb. And that's often what happens to us. All of us are involved in defense mechanisms. All of us can't quite bear the full truth about ourselves. It helps us to go to psychotherapy. I know that, you know, AI is, you know, delivers some aspects of therapy. It can be good at points. The good thing about a real human being is that they are not guided just by you. They've got their...
I'm just going to put a poll up real quick. And I'm just to check in, because I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm feeling like I have to slog a lot. I might just skip it to the end. Oh, crap. Should we skip it to the end? Yes. And no. Start poll. Okay. Then we can read the comments. We'll skip it to the end to see what, you know, if we sell anything here. Shaw is my favorite streamer. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Besides myself, of course. I don't think I can really even hold the candle to your streaming prowess, sir. I mean, there are days where I see the amount of content you put out, and I'm just like, I wish I could put out even like 2/10 of that. You put out 1, sometimes 2 standalone videos a day. Plus you stream for like, God, what is it? Like on average 6 hours a day at least? And you're doing that every day. I mean, damn. And I will sit there and have it on too. Like it is nice when I'm kind of working on something and I don't know what to watch. And I'm like, oh, thank God, Raymond's streaming. You know what I mean? I've put that on and I'm listening to it. Keeping me company on the sort of, while I'm doing some tedious stuff for work.
Own independent judgment. And also you're in a relationship with them. And that relationship is part of what heals you. Because the relationship with the therapist is a harbinger of the relationship that you can then take out into the world. A relationship of trust and mutual understanding.
It's just, I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's my fault. Maybe I should be willing to sit here and listen to this. But damn, there's a hell of a lot of...
This is something that AI is not going to be able to replace anytime soon. So we need to understand ourselves, we need to understand the past, and then we need a certain spirit. One of the things that we need in that playbook of love is a good sense of humor. That could sound superfluous, like what on earth, you know, why do we need a sense of humor? Well, a sense of humor is a modesty about our capacity to understand anything. And if we can signal...
It's all sounding a little bit nebulous to me. Yes. Orem says it right. This guy is spouting platitudes. Yeah, very much so. This is... The first video was pretty good. This one, I think, is starting to lack substance. So we'll go and skip it to the end. We got 86% saying to skip it to the end. I love hanging out with my friends online. I do too. You know, I'm grateful I did start streaming. I used to stream on Twitch first, just video games, and I do hope to revive that. And I made buddies on there. You know, I was actually surprised. Like, and I think I really needed that at the time too in some ways. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it was good for me. And then doing YouTube, it's like I've met a surprising amount of people from YouTube. Like even in person too, which I didn't really expect, but there is a beautiful part of this technology that I'm grateful for sure. Who asks why you need a sense of humor? I'm gonna go ahead and end this poll. What do you use for streaming? OBS? I personally use OBS because I like to have full control over the stream. A lot of people use StreamYard. That's like their website, and then you go onto the website and your streaming dock is there essentially. I like to have my streaming dock on my computer offline and then beam it from my computer. So I use classic OBS, and I'm kind of stubborn about that. Even though StreamYard's pretty good, I'll see a lot of good stuff with StreamYard, but I'm just so stubborn that I don't want to change. So I keep using OBS, and I'm happy with that. Okay, yeah, let's go and skip it to the end. Let's just go see what's going on with this guy. Okay, you know, there's a lot of people here. There's some waveforms.
Relationship. One of them is this. When I get close to you, how does that feel? Right? To open up a...
Is he telling us to ask these questions?
To our love life, of your ignorance. I think that's the best way we can proceed also in relation to our love lives. There are lots of questions that we could learn to ask ourselves and our partners in order to try and find a better relationship. One of them is this. When I get close to you, how does that feel? Right? To open up a window onto some of the complexities that occur when somebody gets close. If I love you, what part of you might worry?
I guess, but I don't know. I don't know about that. But okay, that's his idea there. StreamYard's expensive. It's what you start with, but I'm trying to figure out OBS. Hey, if you ever want to chat about it, I can. If you run into questions on OBS, just reach out to me, and I'll do my best to explain as best I can. So, yeah, man, I think you should try OBS. I think you'll like it. There's more of a little. I feel like you get more control with that. And I forgot that StreamYard is a service you have to pay for. So, yeah, that's also another plus there. OBS video, I never pay for anything. Okay, yeah. And I know, I remember using video in the beginning. I think you're using OBS now. MGTOW Outlaw uses StreamYard to hang out with his viewers. StreamYard is expensive. His streams are fun. Yeah. Raymond, man, I know what you mean. Shout out, JP. All right. Well, let's just skip it one more time to about here.
And it has brought up...
Okay, Instagram. He mentions Instagram. Oh, therapeutic language, mass adoption, superficial level.
Language and insights have spread for the first time far outside the consulting room.
Okay.
There is mass adoption at a superficial level of therapeutic language. And the area where we find this most obviously is social media, and in particular Instagram, which is enormous. It's an enormous force in the world, and it has brought up a generation, I'd say, to speak in pseudo or vaguely therapeutic terms. I don't mean that as an insult. Some of these insights have been fantastic. People are now able to talk about, let's say, attachment theory, the mention of an avoidant attachment theory or an anxious attachment theory in many circles now doesn't create the puzzlement that it was generating 15 years ago. 15 years ago, this was not common knowledge. That was still in
okay, yes, there's been a permeating of, I guess you could say, therapy speak into the wider consciousness, into the zeitgeist, so to speak. People talk about attachment or, this person, whatever the heck it is, anxious, whatever. There's a lot of them. Yeah, okay, I get it.
In textbooks and in the consulting room. Now it's out in the world. And the medium that has changed this, as I say, is social media. What's the problem? I'll tell you one of the problems. One of the problems is whose fault it is. The tone of a lot of social media posting blames the problem for the struggles in relationships fairly and squarely on the partner, not on yourself. There is an obsession with finding borderline people, narcissistic people.
Hey, you heard that a lot. Well, but they were a narcissist.
Avoidance, anxious people out in the world. And of course they exist. But the tone is the problem. The tone says, get out, these are red flags, and everybody that you're meeting, the reason why you haven't made a relationship work is because these people are unbalanced psychologically. My answer is this: if you are looking to find a person with no problems at all, with no psychological disturbances, good luck to you. If you're looking to find somebody with no red flags, good luck to you. Everybody has red flags. That's part of what it means to be human. That's the story of Genesis. The story of Genesis is Adam and Eve had some red flags. That's what it is to be human being, is somebody with a red flag. So the problem is not the red flag, it's how you deal with it. And
interesting. So Adam and Eve had some red flags. Maybe my memory's a little bit hazy on the specifics. I have read Genesis a few times, but I thought everything was cool until, the serpent showed up. And that, kind of introduced a negative element. Then it was different, once they ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Does anybody know what red flags he might be talking about? I think people on TikTok who are using therapeutic language don't even know what they're talking about. Well, yeah, it's the same thing. It's like it's like a teenager finding their father's pistol. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, they kind of get how to use it, but they're using it probably less responsibly than the father, unless the father has really trained them on it and, given them some guidance and ethics when it comes to using a pistol. Even parts of the manosphere do this. They take academic terms and they redefine them. They stretch out the meanings of them. And, things get built off of that. But okay, I hate people that get all uppity about bad words.
this is what I worry that
I tend to try not to curse so much.
therapeutic culture on social media doesn't train us to do. It doesn't train us for patience. It doesn't train us to think we might be the problem. It doesn't ask us to think what we've brought to the situation. It doesn't create an atmosphere of forgiveness. The reason is very simple: outrage.
Gotta hear a bit more, but I think he's making up the red flags unless he's getting at their naivete. Yeah, I guess it could be that. I never heard that before. It's interesting.
Sells. It's more fun. It feels more spirited. It's punchier to say, that ex of yours, they're the avoidant, they're crazy, they're narcissistic. It's
okay, yeah, so take some personal work on yourself a bit. Okay, let's get the grid off and let's go ahead and read some of these comments. This one was not a banger. Like the last video, I will say, was a lot better. Okay, if soulmates exist, they are made, not found. Love is more of a skill. Love is more of a skill than an emotion. Damn, that line hit me crazy. I did appreciate that. You can't understand yourself by just being with yourself. This right here is gold. Yeah, I think there's something to be said about engaging with the community. I must have missed that part because I probably skipped over it. I feel like an intro to psychology and relationships should be taught in sex ed. I love Alain de Botton. My caution is that do not mistake his advice for staying with people who are not interested in putting in the work with you. You cannot do this work alone. In summary, Alain is saying Delulu is not the Solulu. I do not seek perfect compatibility. I seek progress and compatibility. There is just a whole lot of nebulousness. Maybe I'm just being impatient. I wish more people would realize that a relationship equals continuous work. One person, I think Orem mentioned platitude. Isn't this another obvious platitude that everybody kind of throws around, but yet somehow people still can't really seem to figure it out, at least a lot of folks. Definitely not an orthodox viewpoint on Adam and Eve by any means. Yeah, okay, I hear that. It was just, odd. Being in a relationship is about solving problems together, problems you would not have if you were single. I would date the person who has watched this video. Compatibility is not a precondition of love. Compatibility is the fruit of love. Nice to hear something different to dump them, just move on. That's true. I mean, I don't know, in some ways, you know, that a lot of people just do that and, you know, but I guess. This is like watching a tutorial for a game. I don't own a console. I don't own on a console I don't have. That's kind of funny. Well said. I too am single and have been for years. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that was fun. Ah, damn. Do I want to do one more brain rot video? I'm just seeing what I got here. Nah. That's all right. We don't need to do another brain rot video. We had plenty of fun today, though. We had plenty of fun. I think the Eddie Murphy part was the highlight. For me. Dan the Man, I know you wanted me to play. Yeah, don't worry, Raymond. We're about to end this stream too. Not too long from now. I appreciate you hanging out, especially after, you know, streaming for as long as you did. I hope you had a fantastic dinner, man, and this helped you unwind a bit. Dude was talking around so much in the parts of the video we listened to, like he had a hard time making points landing the plane. Yeah, and I feel like that's something even myself I'd like to get better at, but there were a lot of parts that were very nebulous. I get like a bit self-conscious at myself because I feel like I wish I would say things just clearer and more succinct, especially on some of the YouTube collabs I've been on in the past, you know, something I think about. It's amazing that people just find other people that like them. Sometimes seems that way, right? Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So bring on the brain rot. All right. You know what? I'm going to give y'all some brain rot. And I don't know why every time I see this guy's videos, I just can't help but like this guy's videos. Like it just makes me laugh. I don't know what it is. This guy right here, I don't even follow him, but I really should. Melvin Dynamics, but everything he makes is hilarious to me, and his editing style is hilarious. All right, let's watch There's no reason any man should go to a singles mixer.
There's no reason for a man to go to a mixer to meet women. Let me cook. Mixers are for men that can't get bitches. Mixers are for men who've been overlooked and been picked over. Mixers are for men that women didn't want. That's why when you go to mixers, you always see 1,000 women and a handful of men. And fellas, I don't care how less attractive that you are. There are 8 women to one guy. There's always a woman out here that's willing to deal with you or even take you serious. Because all of the women that are at mixers, they can't retain a man, they can't keep a man long term, and they're difficult to get along with. And most importantly, they can't get a man to take them serious. Your looks is what's going to attract a man, but your behavior is what's going to keep a man. So no, I would never go to a singles mixer. I would rather sit at home in my lazy boy recliner staring at the wall before I go to a singles mixer. I never had an issue in that. Facts. I like that are confident, I'm following them, attractive, and got their own motion. Don't need to go to mixers. So that's why us men don't go to mixers. We got better shit to do with our time. And fellas, it is better for you to make some money than to waste your money, your effort, your energy, your attention, and your time.
I can hear
on a woman that ain't got nothing to offer you but a headache. Like, share, subscribe.
Okay, one more from Melvin. I don't know. I saved these because I was like, maybe I'll show it. I don't even know why. It's just, I will sit there and I will just, watching these for some reason, like it brings me a little bit of joy. All right. 3 ways to get rid of a woman you don't want. Oh, dang it. Why isn't this working? Man. Hold on one second. It's not letting me hit play. Okay.
3 ways to get rid of a woman that don't want to leave. Number 1, ask her for money. Tell her how bad you doing in life. Tell her your bank account's in a negative. Tell her you got $100,000 of debt. Tell her your rent.
So this is like when you want to break up, but like you don't want to be the bad guy. So you want her to just not want to be with you no more.
3 months behind. Tell her they about to repossess your vehicle. Tell her your credit cards are maxed. Tell her you spend all your money on lottery tickets and sports betting apps, praying you hit a lick. Number 2, tell her the truth. Women cannot take the truth. Women want to be lied to. They want to be manipulated. She wants you to sell her a dream. She wants you to tell her the sky is red, knowing for a fact that it's blue. She wants you to tell her her hair is nice, knowing that shit busted. She wants you to tell her her outfit look good, knowing that shit trash bag. Women like to be fed lies. So if you want her to run off, tell her the truth. Number 3,
Dan, please send me the song you want me to play.
To her. Tell her how much you love her and you can't live without her. Start spending all your money on her. She gonna look at you like a trick. Start acting more emotional than she does. Start painting your nails just like she does. Her space so she can't get no alone time. Double texting her is an understatement. Triple text her.
Tell her the
phone
truth.
till that motherfucker explode. Sit in front of her house for no reason. Follow her around when she don't even know. Tell her there's nothing she can do.
I'm about to hang out with Melvin. Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Watch her ass run the fuck out your life.
Bro, if you hung out with Melvin, I bet he'd help you get some motion, as he calls it. Some motion.
You struggling with confidence and you don't know where to start? Get my ebook, Unshakable Confidence. The link is in the bio.
It has been a minute since we checked out LFA. Okay, one more brain rot, and then maybe we'll check out LFA. So there's this new concept called kidults, and I'll be honest, I feel like there's a little bit of me doing this. If I'm being honest, like that might explain kind of the whole retro kick going on over here. But I saw this and I felt compelled to save it, you know, for the folks. But let's see this about this word called kidults.
I just learned about this word called kidults and how kidults are tapping into their childhood to deal with the stress and anxiety of the world. And I truly
see, and I think there's something like it doesn't have to be a completely aggressive thing, but one of my buddies out in Malaysia, we talk about this, and he's told me a lot about this. But basically, like, people are, like, moving to, like, analog to get away from, like, the algorithm a bit. You know what I mean? So it's like you come in here, you know, you unwind, you got there's no ads on it. You know what I mean? It's just your media right there. It takes you to a different time before the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the stress and anxiety that's caused from being on these platforms, if you have some of this stuff in hard copy, might help you out. And I feel like But at the same time, that could also be a rationalization of just wanting to live in Never Never Land. You know what I mean? Like at worst. So, okay, let's see.
believe it, man, because the things that make me happy besides my family that I created and the family I have are these things that I held on to as a kid, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and all the cool games that I have.
Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! I see a 117. That's Master Chief. I got Master Chief right here on my desk right there. See, that's Master Chief. Oh yeah, I get it, man. You know, I get it. Let's see. He's got Kingdom Hearts back there. He's got a GameCube game. There's a Crash game.
And I'm really blessed to have them because life is really hard and difficult without them after a long day of battling the world and all the chaos that is out there. Coming home to this room really gives me a peaceful mind and being able to go to sleep with just a little bit more joy in my heart and in my mind, and takes a lot of stress away. So I hope you guys find the same thing. And don't be ashamed because we are a community and these games that we love and these animes and card games that we love, just a big part of community that we have, and I hope you guys get to embrace it and don't hide from it. Really, really dedicate yourself to these things that bring you joy.
I don't know if he's trolling or not, but I get it, you know. So yeah, kidults. There's some of that going on. Shout out to TCGs. That I'm not sure of. What's that, man? I should know probably. I'm going to go back to Noodle magazines. I'm not sure what that is. Man, you know what I kind of wanted to get into was Goosebumps again. You guys remember Goosebumps? I found on YouTube they have the TV show, but I remember reading some of those when I was a kid. Cheers. It has been terrible out there lately, and this is how we keep happy. How he playing this Pokemon edition on Switch? Can please someone explain? I never went to prom at all. I missed huge milestones growing up, and I feel as though I am developmentally behind in many ways. Damn. So are you amassing a giant collection of things from your childhood? I never went to prom. I didn't have a real girlfriend until I was 26. I'm just like these guys. I was overweight most of my life, except that part. I started life, I guess, the way people compare ourselves with each other late. Would you think this of me based off what you see? No, sir. You got this. Don't let that limit you. I think cruelty shows the wickedness in some and compassion reveals the good in others. I'm glad that those people did what they did, so I know who to avoid. Okay, so yeah, okay. You know what? I'm just going to click on LFAs just to see if there's anything that really grabs me in. Okay, this is LFA. He's got 146,000 subs. I can't remember when we first found LFA. I don't know. I feel like he was at a lot less subscribers. I mean, obviously going back in time, but I just can't remember what that was. I swear he was right around like 50,000. Things aren't looking good, fellas. Well, okay, you know. Why women choose bums. Whether alpha or beta, embrace who you are. I mean, that's okay. That's cool, you know. Just shed the label then maybe, or I don't know. Okay, embrace who you are. Okay, that's 30 minutes though. Things aren't looking good, fellas. The main thing women crave from men they're attracted to. The main reason dating gets easier as I got a feeling Raymond might have a bone to pick with this title of this video right here. Don't worry. Okay, Raymond, don't worry. I'm not going to torture you on this one. I'm not going to torture you. Okay, I do feel like I did have a Reddit thread about inheritance, and then maybe that can be a cap on this whole thing. Here it is. I don't even know why I saved this. So let me just see what's going on here. I don't know why I saved this, but for some reason I did. So let's look at this. Is it common for a spouse to be resentful if inheritance is kept out of the marital property? I don't see why they should be resentful. I mean, damn, inheritance is the one thing that even the law recognizes isn't part of the community property, unless it gets commingled. Do not get your inheritance and put it in a joint bank account. I'm warning you. Okay, don't even, someone mentioned this to me, don't even take one payment of it to make a house payment, because that whole thing might then be able to be seen as community property. Good night, Raymond. Man, you have a fantastic night. Thank you so much, man, for everything. And yeah, absolutely, we're gonna do something, man. Absolutely, we are. And shout out to you, man, on the 7 hours of streaming. I don't know, man. When I think about you, Raymond, I never really watched Asmongold, but I see clips of him, and for some reason, I think this guy is the Asmongold I want to watch. If that means anything. But for some reason, I think that. So I really, I enjoy, watching everything, man. And it's great. Shaw, should I write a course? You write a course, and then I'll purchase the course. And, unless it's like $800 or something. And then I'll see if I could put some of the principles to test. How about that? So yeah, you write the course, and I'll read it, and we'll do it live. Okay, so, you know what though, Raymond? Let me give you. If you're still here, if you went to sleep already, I get it. I think you should write a short book, even if it's like 80 pages. I think you should call it like Raymond's diary or like Raymond's thoughts. In mind. I just feel like for some reason I could see you busting out a good 100-pager, and I could see it actually being interested, even if it's like just things in your life or just memories that you have. I could see you writing a book about your experiences thus far, and because I feel like in your philosophical in some ways, but not like overly so, just when it needs to. and I can almost see like childhood memories popping back up. Like even a lot of stuff you say in the stream, for some reason, like I could see it happening. I have a book about when I dated women. I need to write another. Oh, you actually did write a book? I would gladly pick that up and read it if it's available somewhere. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good idea. No pressure on that. I'm supposed to be writing something myself. Sunday's supposed to be writing day for me. So that's cool. Yeah, that's good. So you do write anyway. So good. Anyways, yeah, I'll let you go, man. You have a fantastic night, Raymond. I'm looking forward to that. And guys, this will be the last thing. We'll top out at 3 hours here. Dan, if you're listening, bro, you know what? Okay, Dan, I'm just going to scroll up. Here it is. I did what you said. Okay, I know what song to play. We're going to play Dan the Man's How Much Do I Have to Shit on You to Make You Love Me? He has more than one in here, but we're going to play this more recent one in the AI content section. So I'm just going to read this real quick. In this situation now, and sensing some resentment from my spouse that I'm keeping it in my own brokerage account and not joining it, even though we've always kept our money separate because it's a second marriage and she still has 2 dependents. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah, so she's got 2 kids that aren't grown up and she's mad that his inheritance hasn't been commingled. I can maybe understand the resentment if you and your wife shared money and had joint accounts on most things. Now, I still couldn't even understand the resentment on that. Inheritance is different. But if you've been keeping, recent one from the DMs, okay, I'll do that. But if you've been keeping your money separate and you don't have children in common, then it makes sense to keep your inheritance separate. Just so long as you're not resentful when she receives an inheritance and keeps it in a separate account. Yeah, that's a bigger question. Is she getting an inheritance? My response is coming from a place where we both inherited money. One 10 times the value of the other, all commingled. However, in your situation, no joint account, second marriage, step dependents, it makes 0 sense to commingle, and I would highly recommend keeping your inheritance separate. Perhaps book a nice meal or a vacation together if the funds are big enough. I mean, using a small percentage of the funds to commemorate the inheritance together, but keep it yours. The resentment is common, but there are tons of good reasons for keeping it separate. The common reason is, what if we get divorced? Yeah, that's bad. But even if you feel you have the strongest marriage, there are many reasons why it's good to separate things. What about lawsuits, addictions, liability, etc.? It's always a good idea to keep some things separate to protect both of you. You can still make decisions that benefit the family without putting all your assets at risk. And it's just funny because it's like, I can't help but think about how marriage, both people brought property in or income, and it really was separate. But just by virtue of them being married, it was just like, oh, that's good. Either of us have something. You know what I mean? But we have this thing where it's like, oh, well, community property, and it's what yours is mine is yours. But it really wasn't like that for a long time. So that part, I think that's what intrigued me to save this. Don't forget death, especially if you have kids you'd want it to go to. My friend's mom inherited a lot of money. Did not keep it separate or put it into a trust. This is why I saved the thread. Now I remember. Did not keep it separate or put it into a trust. After she died, husband, my friend's dad, remarried. New wife was a big spender, and she got it all when my friend's dad died. Stepmom is taking her grandkids on lavish vacations and paying for private school while my friend's kid had to take out student loans. Isn't that crazy? That's why I saved the freaking thread. Now I remember now. I'm glad I brought this up. I see a lot of nightmare stories of this. And this is just yet another thing of what the marriage contract does here. So super important. What a crappy thing. That's unfortunate. Heck no. Get out of here trying to take money his ancestors earned, especially. And I mean, like, this is like the worst of how it could really end up here. The estate lawyer told me about the casserole lady. She said, if my husband dies first, people will send me flowers and be sad for me, but they know I'll be able to feed myself. She said, if I die first, especially if they know my husband has money, women show up with casseroles after my death and never leave. That's interesting. So even when you're like an old man, you got them after you like that. What if you got money? Our lawyer said she's changed 3 trusts to give everything to the casserole lady. Oh my God. The casserole lady out here.
I have no dowry.
The casserole, guys, you got to watch out for the casserole lady. So even these ladies in like their 50s and 60s that make casseroles are out here on the prowl trying to steal grandkids' inheritances. This is crazy. Oh, no. Oh, God, the casserole lady. Hey, Reaper, shout out to you, man. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for coming in. We'll probably be wrapped up here real soon. Oh, my God, the casserole lady. That's crazy. That was another reason I knew I saved this thread for a reason. Over here, inheritance gets commingled by court in case of a divorce. No, Klaus. Germany, why? Come on. Man. Oh, gosh. Another reason not to sign the marriage contract, I guess. I don't know. That's unfortunate. Hopefully there's something else to balance that out in the law. I don't know what that is, but, you know, that's very wishful thinking. Okay, that's why my husband and I have separate trusts. I trust my husband, but I don't trust casserole ladies or our aging minds and judgment. Yep, everything my parent had who passed went to our step-parent. And my brother and I have no idea where things go after that. Step does not have kids, and we know there is a family trust, but have no idea on the details. Okay, well, they haven't read that, but if the dad never gave him a copy of it. I've just told my brother to expect nothing, and you won't be disappointed. Ha! I've been able to do quite well and make my own way, but I know my brother could certainly use something. I realized it was my parents' money to do with what they wanted, but I never understood how a parent could leave a child high and dry, assuming good relationship, etc. Oh well, life ain't always fair, as they say. Similar question. My parents both remarried after they divorced. Or, excuse me, similar situation. My parents both remarried after they divorced when I was in my mid-20s. They each became the 6th spouse of their respective partners. The 6th spouse! When both of my parents died, their spouses received everything. Not gonna lie, it was hurtful. Yeah, it was hurtful. I could totally get that. My mother's husband ended up leaving her in an unmarked grave. Inherited my grandmother's money and could not be bothered to even buy a plaque for my mom's grave. Oh my gosh. That's some circus level stuff right there. And then he married my mom's close friend 3 months later. People are bonkers. Wow. Yeah, that one just kept going. That one did not stop. Gosh. Similar situation here. My mom inherited her parents' estate. Mom dies and everything goes to... See, this is like the unfortunate part. It's like if people can't do marriage and stay together, the wealth just dissolves. Like it just slips through the fingers. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the unfortunate. It can either go up or it just dissipates, you know, like that. Go up if you guys got a good thing going on. Similar situation here. My mom inherited her parents' estate. My mom dies and everything goes to stepdad. Stepdad ghosted us. Oh no. And quickly remarried. Stepdad commits S. I don't know what S is. Everything went to his new... Oh! So stepdad checked out and everything went to the new wife, who has probably no attachment to these kids. My grandparents never even met this woman, yet she walked away with a lot of money. Oh, see, like, I don't know what it is. Like, this is my rage bait right here. This content is like... I don't even know if I should be reading this, man, but it's just like, whenever I read stories like this, man, it just really just... It's just really, man, it's just really... It's just, all down the... This is too much right here. This is too much. Oh, and there's more. Sorry to hear that, but unfortunately, it's not uncommon at all for it to go down that way. It happens very often. Even when someone thinks they have a perfect plan, I do have a good relationship with my step-parent, and they know I'm in the trust, investment, financial world. So they do ask me for guidance, but I've never flat out asked them about the future setup when they pass. Kind of hard convo with the step-parent. Oh well, if not me or bro, someone will be quite happy. Gosh. I'm just reading this for awareness, folks. This is just more like a PSA. All for the women, I guess. You can't even prevent that by a prenup. It will get thrown out by court. Wow. Germany is... That's interesting. I'd love to hear the reasoning for what got that law in there in the first place. I wonder if that law was instituted around the time they removed the dowry from the legal codes in Germany. And the reason I say that is because what would have happened is they probably would have instituted more of a community property setup. And maybe they rolled in inheritance with that at the time that they did that. That's my suspicion. You can't even prevent that by... okay. That's why the Chad-like phenomenon exists. The only type of man who's having fun and getting what he wants. Wow. Gosh, out here just picking up inheritances one by one, huh? That's why the Chad, the rascal phenomenon exists. Oh, okay. My bad. You wrote it twice. The only type of man who's having fun and getting what he wants. Well, the Chad and the casserole lady. These comments are brutal. Yes, they are. Thank you. From all outward appearances, he seemed like a good person and he took care of my mother. She was a difficult person, but him disappearing, going no contact with our family and marrying so quick. Oh, wow. Yeah, now they're married to somebody else. Makes me questioning his actions. Perhaps his self-canceling was due to the guilt taking over. Okay, yeah, he did. Yeah, and then who he got married to got everything. The entire family treated him better than our actual father, and poof, he was gone. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Treated him better than the actual father. Oh, man. It just goes to show who probably has your best interest at heart and who doesn't. Or if you have a single, let's see. Okay. I totally agree with your reasoning. Numbers don't lie. Life happens and all of a sudden a divorce lawyer and your ex-wife is now emptying your bank account. The divorce rate is simply too high to risk it. My ex-wife wanted nothing until she learned that the state we lived in had common law marriage and half of my 401k went bye-bye. There you go. There's another one. My husband is receiving a large settlement soon and we're keeping it separate. Second marriage is for both of us. We both each own a house. Yep, see, because she came in with skin in the game. So she's like, what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. And she's more likely to want to do that. After selling both and moving to Oregon, we will each contribute the same amount towards that purchase. There you go. And have no mortgage. When one passes, the others stay in it till they pass. Then the house is sold and proceeds will be split evenly between our 4 kids. Fair and square, no drooling over the other spouse's assets. I respect this right here. Make sure that's all locked down with an estate attorney, especially if moving to a different state. As you mentioned, moving to Oregon, laws can differ by state. Smart of you and hubby. Thumbs up. Well, yeah, that's good advice too. I inherited money and a house from my mother. I own it jointly with my brother and my husband doesn't have an interest in it. He's fine with that. He will inherit millions from his mother's estate in the next year or so. And that will all go into a separate property trust he has set up. I had to sign paperwork saying I knew about it and had no objection to him doing it. I was happy to sign as he has always been kind and generous with me, and I have no reason to believe he will act otherwise down the line. Well, yeah, shout out to her too. I'm keeping mine separate and won't hear a word about it. My husband is a great guy, but he's never met a dollar he couldn't spend, usually on other people, but still, this money has to stay invested until we can retire on it. I am so sorry I told my husband anything about my parents' financial situation. He knew, though, that I was spending a lot of time settling their estate, so wore me down with his questioning. I knew he had some kind of secret life going on, and I was determined to use any inherited money I might end up with to help me get out of the marriage. Nothing is ever as simple as a simple answer makes it appear, is it? Gosh, I could just read these all day. Take it easy, oikophobic. The Marxist is here. My mother was a difficult person. My stepmother took everything the family had. My mother was a difficult person. Yeah, my stepmother took everything the family had. Oh my gosh. Gosh. I don't have plans to get out, but my spouse is a spendthrift and is still a bit fantasizing about buying a house, which would literally eat every last penny and mean we both would have to work forever. Nopey nope. I'm happy to use my resources to take care of the expenses I'm responsible for, rent and food, and unexpected things. I'm about to pay off his credit card just because it bugs me. $5K, so not a huge deal. And if he doesn't have enough for the bills he has taken accountability for, I pay the difference, no problem. But if he saw my brokerage account balance, he would think of all kinds of stuff we absolutely need, like, you know, artwork. My father-in-law died before his third wife. She inherited everything. Okay, well, yeah, there you go. We really liked her and thought she'd be fair. Her kids ended up with everything. There it is again. I was widowed at 57. Almost everything I have is because of my late husband. He far out-earned me and had a significant life insurance. I have a new partner that I really love. I told him early on that if we marry, I will require a prenup. Our money will be separate. He lives in my house, and I will never charge him rent. I will include him in my will, but will make sure my children are taken care of. Thankfully, my children really like him. This is how, you know, everybody should think about their assets, including men. You should talk to a lawyer to ask about common law marriage and when a partner is treated as a spouse in jurisdiction. There is no common law marriage in my state. Okay, couple more. Spouse and I have always shared money. It's one account. That being said, I'm in the process of setting up a separate trust for inherited assets. I will absolutely use it to fund our lives and count it as part of our wealth. But if I pass, it goes to our 2 kids together, directly or in trust deep in their age. You know what's crazy? If you look at the old laws too, like your property, like the woman's dowry property, which she still had in the marriage, did not go to the husband. It was for her children, specifically of that marriage. Even so, if he got remarried and they had other kids, that original mom's dowry only went to her kids. And like that was like very clear in the law. So it's like that when I see this, it's like it's how it should be. Goes to the kids, basically. Well, folks, call me a Disney-minded retard. I'm out. None of that appeals to me. I'm off to bed. Make it a good one. Awesome, man. Yeah, you know what? We'll call it. I'm going to play Dan the Man's song here. I think we kind of got the gist of that. Here's Dan the Man. Dan the Man has sent me a song, which I will download. And let's see. Oops. Country song. This one is called How Much Do I Have to Shit on You to Get You to Love Me? Shout out to Paul Elam. This is for Paul Elam from Dan the Man. And when we finalize the song, we will be sending Paul Elam a copy of that song. So let's go ahead and get that playing and close out the stream. 4-minute song here.
I paid the tab and tipped the band. Held your hand down every street.
Thank you, Dan the Man.
Thought being good would win your heart. Thought kindness couldn't be beat. You ran off with a loud mouth in a rusted Chevy truck.
Sounds like a Christian song.
Crying half the night, but you still call it love. I'm sitting here laughing at the fool I used to be, thinking love meant loyalty. I bought you flowers, bought you time, tried to be the man you need, but you went chasing thunder while I was planting seeds.
There's a couple different styles of the song too. Some of them probably a little more faster.
You guess nice guys never win in whatever game this must be.
Shout out to you, NZ. Next time, man. Don't stress it, bro. Thanks for coming in.
I have to shit on you to get you to love me. You don't answer when you call.
I want to hear that line more, Dan. I want to hear how much do I gotta shit on you to get you to love me. Like the beginning, the middle, and the
that
end.
reckless fire still keeps your heart away.
I opted out of an inheritance of the family part I've cut ties with. Good reason.
I bought you flowers, bought you time, tried to be the man you need.
Turned out later they tried to set me up with a ton of debt. Oh my God. Shout out to you, bro.
went chasing thunder while I was planting seeds.
Bro, good catch on that, Klaus. That's crazy. Thankful that I wasn't greedy, so they couldn't screw me. Wow. I'll have to remember that. No worries, Dan.
Do I have to shit on you to get you to love me?
There's a badass harmonica solo at the end of this, I think. This is the one with the harmonica, I think.
What you want, maybe chaos is your flame. So go chase that wild ride. That ain't the life for me. But before I ride off laughing, how much do I have to shit on you
to get you to love me?
Get you to love me.
I'm going to play another version after this one. I'm just going to play this other one you got on Suno here for the heck of it.
More than calm and quiet sea.
I'm going to play the Outlaw Country one. Damn. Okay, that was that one. Let me see if I can get another one up here real quick. We got a few different. Let's see what the Outlaw Country one sounds like. There's Outlaw Country V2. Damn it. Visit site. Haven't heard Suno in a while. I think that was the same one depending on what you are clicking. I clicked on the second one. Oh, that might be, huh?
I paid the tab and tipped the band. Held your hand down every street.
Let's try the other one. That does sound pretty similar. I thought there was like a completely different style too. Okay, yeah. Let's see. I'll do the most recent one that you put in. We'll call it on that. We'll call it on that. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a good listen to these, man. I'm sorry. Okay. I like. Let's see how this goes. How much do I have to shit on you to get you to love me? But all right, let's see.
I paid the tab and tipped the band. Held your hand down every street. Thought being good would win your heart. Thought kindness couldn't be beat. You ran off with a loud mouth in a rusted Chevy truck.
I like the lyrics.
Leaves you crying half the night, but you still call it
This is the one
love.
Luke liked? Okay.
I'm sitting here laughing at the fool I used to be, thinking love meant loyalty. I bought you flowers, bought you time, tried to be the man you need, but you went chasing thunder while I was planting seeds. Guess nice guys never win in whatever game this must be. How much do
Oh, there's
I
the
have to
harmonica
shit
solo
on
right
you
here.
to get you.
I want to hear the harmonica. There it is.
He don't answer when you call, shows up drunk and 2 hours late. But somehow that reckless fire still keeps your heart awake. I bought you flowers, bought you time, tried to be the man you need, but you went chasing thunder while I was planting seeds. Guess nice guys
I kind of like this one more.
in whatever game this must be.
It starts off with like the music heavier in the beginning. I'm a fan of the harmonica. I gotta do it for you guys, bro. I gotta do it. I just gotta think, Dan, like, how do I organize it? Like, if it's...
Maybe love's a crooked joke. Maybe hearts just like the pain. Maybe peace ain't what you want.
Man, I like the lyrics on this one.
Is your flame.
Dan, I'm sorry to keep putting you back on the drawing board on these, man. I really am. I really like this one. I don't know why. Like when I imagined Paul, I just kind of imagined more of like a Texas grit. You know what I'm saying? Like this one feels a little like uplifting, almost like the rainy clouds are parting and a rainbow's coming, but it needs to be a little bit more gritty. But it's okay. But it's okay. And I'll send them whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But let's finish this one though. If you like this one, we can send this to Paul instead. I'm down for all that. Yeah, I'm sorry for being so picky, man. I just... The Western guitar break is nice, too.
So go chase that wild ride. That ain't the life for
Maybe the uplifting works. I don't know when I think of the lyrics. It's pretty good.
Do I have to shit on you?
The November Rain. I'll write that down so I can remember to look at it.
Yes, some hearts love the storm more than calm and quiet seas.
Okay, that was pretty fun. All right, y'all. Well, I say we call it. And I hope everybody has a good Sunday. Get some good food. I'll try again for a dark, gritty tone. Yeah, man, I wish maybe we could chat about it a little bit. I'm tired of like sending you back to the drawing board. There's just something like, I know there's like a specific country sound that would really work for this. I'm trying to figure out what the hell it is. I just feel like the song has so much potential. You know what I mean? This can be up there with Deadbeat Woman by Luke Nielsen, which is a banger every time I hear it, you know, and I really want that for this song. I want that feeling, you know. One of these days, try watching the original November Rain music video. I promise you'll die laughing. I'll watch it for sure. Have a quiet and peaceful evening, everybody. Thank you. Yes, that I would love to have a quiet and peaceful day tomorrow, not even just evening. Well, it's night now, but I got to do some writing tomorrow. I got to do some retro gaming tomorrow, and I got to eat some food and hopefully go on a walk, you know, because I've been trying to trim a little bit because I've been having some fun. But yeah, everybody have a fantastic evening. I think the stream turned out pretty good today. I had fun at least. Hope y'all had fun. Guys, the panel discussion. Paul Elam, Matt Cross, John from It's Complicated, myself. It's slated hopefully for tomorrow if I can get the last few kinks worked out. I'm just trying to get all the collab requests processed. And look out for that. I will put it in the Discord. I'll make a YouTube post. I'll put it on the Twitter. I just want everybody to enjoy that, okay? So everybody have a great night.